Previously on Star Trek Pathfinder.
Captain's Log Supplemental. We are en route to the Calgrit homeworld to negotiate an armistice and investigate new reports of a superweapon.
Captain, I'm picking up a highly unusual energy signature.
If we were any closer to Federation space, we wouldn't be having this conversation. What I'm about to tell you doesn't leave these bulkheads.
Captain, it sounds like in the process of destroying this molecule, we risk collapsing subspace for at least a light year.
If we're lucky, Mr. Yeager.
Captain, we're in position.
Helm, I want maximum warp as soon as the torpedo is away.
Yes, sir. Consider it done.
Mr. Yeager, fire on my mark. Fire!
According to these readings, the Omega molecule was successfully destroyed, along with a section of subspace in a 1.46 light year radius.
Well, that could have gone worse.
And now the continuation.
What I mean is, that was a hot minute.
Oh no.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Star Trek Adventures, like 6 months late. Hello everyone, and welcome. First things first, because this has been an issue every single time we've done one of these. Can you hear me? I'm gonna wait. Someone in chat, just tell me if you can hear me.
Move your camera
Please.
slightly away from
For the love of God. Oh yeah, back it up a little bit.
it's like up your desk.
Yeah, we get it.
Extreme Jesse close up.
Keep pushing.
Okay, apparently the audio exists, but is very quiet. This is why we tested this first. Okay.
If only you knew how to theater
Okay,
talk.
How's this,
stop
guys?
pushing. Stop pushing, because you're at the edge of the table.
Up this too. Somebody tell me if you can hear me better now. Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now?
Okay. I turned all the dials to the right, and apparently that fixed it.
Well, you gotta put it to 11.
Yeah, that's true.
Whatever.
Okay, alright, cool. Everybody's saying 10 by 10. Sweet. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Star Trek Adventures Pathfinder. This is a supposedly monthly stream that we do when we're not putting out expansions by the box. We're not going from expansion to, oh god, we're just sticking up with a new TV show to, anyway, we're here now, and it's lovely to see you all. I would like to apologize for how terrible this camera that Ryan and I are on is, and how late we are in starting. Those two issues are related. We have a good camera that should be showing us, but it's not. And Ryan is too sweeting me.
No,
I think he knows what that means.
I'm being Thomas.
Yeah. And yes, thank you so much
I didn't get
for
that at
everyone
all.
who's not
No,
wearing green
because
tonight.
there's a
As someone
Thomas
pointed out in
isn't
chat.
funny.
I thought you were doing terrible sign language.
Okay, quickly before we get started, thank you to Snipey47A for making our previously on video. That was amazing. We love you. And thank you to ZEF Films for making our intro video. Also amazing. We also love you. A couple of housekeeping things before we get started. We are doing a bunch of giveaways tonight. We have.
What? Do I get something?
No.
You're not on STO anymore.
Yeah, I guess you get to work on a different team. So.
Yeah.
Aww.
We have
Transfer
10
to another fleet.
Star Trek Adventures books to give away. The main source book, I believe it's PDF form, and we also have a collection of every PDF Modiphius has put out for Star Trek Adventures that we will be giving away on the end of the stream. So periodically we'll be stopping to give things away, probably through trivia questions.
How many is every thing that they've made?
Every PDF they've made for Star Trek Adventures. I don't know how much that is off the top of my
That's
head.
about 15.
Yeah.
15?
Yeah,
Some
it's a lot.
quantity.
It's apparently retail value of about $112, if that helps.
That's cool.
At least, yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite a
I'm just
few.
trying to excite the
Get
audience.
excited! So here's what we're gonna do. For that big prize, we're gonna give that one away at the very end of the stream. And in order to give it away, we want to see your fan art of this stream in general. It could be from previous streams. It could be something that happens tonight. If you want to whip something up real quick, we aren't expecting masterpieces because we're asking you to draw something in less than 3 hours. I understand.
I
But-
expect
What do you mean?
masterpieces.
I expect masterpieces.
Okay, Paul expects masterpieces.
If you expect
Expectations are
masterpieces from us, we're going to expect masterpieces from
And
you.
they do.
Do you have any rules like don't actually draw a fan?
Okay. Don't draw the physical object of fan. That's true. Don't draw dicks. Just in general. Nudity's probably right out. And send it to community@crypticstudios.com, and I will check that at the end of the night, and we'll do a quick judging thing and pick a winner. The rest will be stopping to do trivia questions periodically every now and then. I don't know that we'll get through giving away all 10 tonight, because that would be a lot of stopping, and I don't necessarily want to kill the flow that way, but we'll see. The other housekeeping thing, just to say it at the beginning of the stream so you guys all know, while I will be looking at chat tonight, we are not answering any questions about Star Trek Online, the video game, tonight. We have no answers for you about when you're getting the ship you want, when that bug you don't like is getting fixed, etc., blah blah. Yeah,
not.
exactly. You heard it here first, folks.
Also, if you have any questions about Star Trek Online, the setting for our role-playing game, we're not going to answer your questions either because we have a game.
Yeah, we're running a game. So we're going to be playing Star Trek Adventures by Modiphius tonight. It is a really fun game. You can check it out at their website, which I haven't memorized, so you should just Google Modiphius and Star Trek Adventures and you'll find it. That's MODIPHUS. Maybe there's another I in there. Someone in chat will tell you. Anyway, let's get started because we're hella late by going around the table and introducing ourselves. My name is Mike Fadum. I am known as Ambassador Kell sometimes. I am the community manager for Star Trek Online, and I play Fox, the Klingon science officer. Hello, I'm Thomas Maroney, and I couldn't make it. Go ahead, you're next.
I'm Ryan Levitt. I'm also known as Melange. I am a senior content designer on STO, and I will today be playing Centurion Talamurai, the exchange officer.
Just a heads up for all of you guys, I should have told this before we went on the air, but since the mics are all the way over there, for God's sake, speak up. I know we're all quiet voice directors, or nerds, but yeah, for God's sakes. All right, go.
I think I'm the furthest from every mic.
Yes. Project with your outside voice.
Especially this mic.
Hey!
Oh. Actually, no, you're the farthest from that mic.
You need to use your Sean Connery voice.
I suddenly remembered my Charlemagne.
Exactly.
I'm Chris Menard. I'm the effects artist for Star Trek Online. I'm not going to talk about Discovery weapons.
And you're playing?
Oh, I'm playing
Commander Ethan Yeager.
Ethan Yeager.
That's Lieutenant.
Lieutenant,
I think
whatever.
thanks for the promotion, though.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm acting XO. I can promote you whenever I want.
Yeah.
Fella.
Yeah.
Augmented dude fella.
Yeah.
Augmented dude fella.
I got the muscles and the looks to back it up.
All right.
Hi, I'm Tiffany Chu. I'm playing Dr. Lyra Jennings. I was a content designer on Star Trek, and I think I made some stuff for it.
You did make a
I
thing
made
on the
some
stuff.
Yeah. Now I'm
Sure you
not
did.
on Star Trek, and it makes me sad because these guys are great, but I still bother them every day, and that's good.
Are you allowed to say what you're doing now, or is that a no-no?
Yes, I am a producer on Magic, which is announced. We did
It
announce
is. We did
that
talk
we're
about
working
it,
on
yeah.
Magic, yeah. But there isn't that much information about
No.
Magic out there.
There's not much we can say.
Yeah. That's about
It's
it.
magic and there's gathering.
There might be mana involved, you guys.
Possibly.
Which we haven't decided yet.
There might be planes and there might be snakes on them.
Yikes. Is it my turn?
Only if you're playing green. Yes, it's your turn.
Hey, I'm Paul Reed. I am a content writer and a content designer for not Magic the Gathering. I am playing Commander Kiona, who is now the acting captain.
Dun, dun, dun.
Fetch me the litter box.
That's right.
And who are you?
And I am Jesse Heinig, senior game designer for Star Trek Online, and the inscrutable metaphysical entity known only as the Game Master.
Not to be confused with that character from the old D&D cartoon.
I do that sometimes too.
I think you should just call
Specifically on
the,
Thursdays. No.
the DMs for Star Trek should just be called Q.
The Continuum?
Yeah.
The Continuum makes a decision? Yeah, that makes sense.
You know? I mean, I could go with being the Excalbian, you know?
Yeah.
We are here to study good and evil.
Space
We
Lincoln.
have determined your concepts of good and evil and decided to be evil. Prepare to be griefed, noob.
I like it.
Are you black
That's how that
on,
works.
on the left and white on the right? Or
Oh no.
Captain, half of this social commentary is on the nose, and the other half is on the nose.
Okay, so last time, for those who don't remember, like our players, the Pathfinder had stumbled into a war between 4 different starfaring civilizations. Each of them was less technologically developed than the Federation, but still warp capable, which meant that there was some fudging of prime directive limitations. And because 3 of those civilizations had formed a confederacy and asked the Pathfinder for help in the face of aggression from the 4th, Pathfinder was obligated to provide humanitarian assistance, which later became military assistance when it became clear that the 4th group, the Kelkrit Supremacy, had acquired ancient alien technology, possibly Iconian in origin, and was using it to make weapons they could use to eliminate and subjugate the other 3 civilizations.
Rude.
Pathfinder stepped in and saved the day, as they often do.
and became incorporated.
In our missing episode 4, they had a tremendous space battle with lots of special effects. Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
Yep.
And
With the Omega molecule for some reason.
yes, it was discovered that the Kelkrit had unearthed an Omega molecule that was in some sort of a stasis chamber, which tripped the Omega protocol, and the Pathfinder was obligated to destroy it, thereby also incidentally destroying 1.5 light years of subspace around the Kelkrit homeworld, meaning that their attempts at creating some sort of new star empire would be quashed for generations. Problem solved,
It's like we wrapped up that campaign in a nice little bow.
Yeah.
right?
And it only took you 12 minutes.
But how much are my Pathfinder stocks worth now?
So, nothing for the roof.
Yeah, but there's all these people short selling it because they don't believe in the company.
Oh no.
Also rude.
We'll get back to that. So, as a part of the denouement, the Pathfinder had a rendezvous with the U.S.S. Sally Ride, which had arrived in the 25th century from the past due to events that you can follow at the fellow live streamer. Are we allowed to say their name?
Oh, yeah. Wait, which what?
the other guys with Sally Ride.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so if you followed the live stream Shield of Tomorrow, their ship, the Sally Ride, eventually wound up in the 25th century. So Sally Ride rendezvoused with Pathfinder to get some mission updates and also to briefly transport Captain Maroney back to Earth to give a commencement speech at Truman State University. He will be returning to the Pathfinder after he completes this task. But in the meantime, Kiona is our acting captain, and well, we've got an entire starship. Why waste it? Let's carry on with the Starfleet mission of exploration.
Woo!
So, that means that when we begin, it's Ethan's weekly D&D game.
Yes.
As he's trying to explain to people, no, this is based on sort of the idea of the fallen post-Roman Empire Europe imagined through the action of the Old West of Earth. Oh, never mind.
Just roll the d20s.
Yes. And all of our usual suspects are around the table. When you get the usual interruption. Since the captain, of course, is always on duty, you get night shifts. Bridge to Captain Kiona.
Go ahead, Bridge.
Acting captain. Sorry, I just want to make sure everyone gets that.
Everybody's always got to remind me. Yes, Bridge.
We've been continuing our journey of Rimward per directions, and we've discovered some, I'll call them interesting readings. There's a hypermass up ahead along our projected course. It's fairly small and nondescript as hypermasses go, but there's a massive agglomeration of space debris and I guess what you would just call space junk around it. Some of it throwing off a wide range of radiation, and we're getting some odd variances in subspace around the area. We thought, at the very least, that Commander Thox might want to take a look.
Absolutely. I will be right up to... Crap. I'm a bad Trekkie. What's it called? Astrometrics? Astrometrics, to take a closer look.
Do we think the radiation will pose a health risk for the crew?
Not as long as our shields stay up, Doctor.
Excellent. Make sure
Oh God! Someone said it out loud! The shields are going down in the next 5 seconds.
Drama!
What's our engineer called? Who was our engineer?
Oh, it was the Cardassian.
Yeah, so we did have Ensign Ricky, but
I have it.
It's not Ensign Ricky.
Commander Demera. Denova.
Yeah,
that's right. Commander Denova.
Denova. The Star Exploder.
Yeah.
Bridge, you mentioned that there were some collections of space debris. Are any of those posing a navigational threat to the ship at this time?
Nothing our navigational deflector can't handle, sir. But there's a lot of motion out there. There could be other things moving around out there. Small craft, even life forms. We'll have to find out as we get closer.
Belay that. Let's maintain a safe distance for now. Go to yellow alert, please.
Aye, sir. The yellow alert comes on.
Looks like Queen of the Demon Web Pits is going to have to wait, folks. Everyone to your stations.
Aye, Captain.
Everybody could pass their character sheets forward.
I thought these were holographic. You made real paper?
Just replicated.
It's got a form-fillable PDF.
Yeah.
Off to the bridge I
Can you
go.
believe they used to make paper out of panda poop?
Deck one.
Wait, what? Is this one of those things where you Earth people are messing with me again?
I'm Trill.
Prune juices.
I learned this from other humans.
So, you make it to the bridge. Various ensigns on the night shift get out of their seats and relinquish controls to you. And the last thing that the science ensign does before giving over his console to Thox and putting it back into Klingon is he changes over the main view screen so that you can see this massive, swirling nightmare of a black hole with the accretion disk highlighted, some artificial luminosity added. It's a very cool effect. You can almost see space warping around it.
There's a bunch of Zenkathy outposts scattered around it.
According to chat, there's at least 5 tardigrades floating in there. So.
Entirely possible.
I'll look at the person who is running the science station and say, Have we conducted any sort of preliminary scans to determine if any of that debris is recognizable? Ship hull types, registries.
Hudson Ramirez says there's definitely signs that some of it is from spacecraft, but none of it is Federation. I started cross-checking the database against other known species, but it hasn't finished the search yet. He's using like a really bad unindexed search because he's an ensign. He doesn't know any better. It's horrible.
Acting Captain, my apologies. I would like to run a sensor scan for the types of propulsion or technology that were used to see if we can determine the cause of the explosion.
Yes.
Okay.
By all means.
All right. Let's do a roll.
All right. Roll some dice.
So I need some d20s. Ryan, please.
And Ryan, you're also going to be making a roll.
And so, okay. Now, I remember that I'm doing...
All right, so it's you use your attribute.
So I'm trying to roll under Reason plus Science, which is 18.
Oh no, I think Thomas has the ship's character sheet, right?
Oh no!
No, do you not have the ship? Do we not have the ship sheet?
Oh no, yeah, Thomas has the ship.
Thomas?
It's probably at his desk.
I mean, what?
I guarantee you someone on the stream has a copy of it.
Yeah, actually, I guarantee that as well. Someone tell me the stats for the ship, because I can use the ship stats for this.
They're pretty good. I mean, they're an Intrepid, but we beefed it up a little bit.
How does how does assisting work?
I don't know. Game Master, how does this
Nobody remembers.
Listen,
what are we playing?
Listen, it's been a while. We had a few releases.
Do we want to just start playing D&D in space instead? There's some Starfinder books down the hall.
Other meeting room.
If we start playing D&D, we're going to translate the Star Trek dice back.
You say how you're aiding them.
Yeah.
Right?
With your tail.
With your attribute, discipline, and focus, if any. So you add your successes to theirs.
Oh, okay. I never released the character.
So here's something that I can do because I'm the boss.
Yeah.
I have an action called Direct. The CO provides clear, concise orders. Choose one other officer currently on the bridge. That would be the science officer. That officer attempts a single task, which you're about to do anyway, determined by me. We already know what that's going to be. And then I assist that task using my command discipline.
Okay. All right.
So how does that just add to his roll? Or?
Yeah, I'm not sure what, I think it's the same difficulty.
Yep.
But you'll add, any successes you generate will get added to his roll.
So I just roll my one die for command?
No, so you do, so it is your, I'm guessing it's control, because you're, or presence, because you're commanding, and your command, and that gives you the target you have to roll under.
And then you roll.
Derek Collins in Facebook chat has a good point. We should just ask Luke Critter.
All right, so my presence and my command.
So you're going to roll 14. You're going to roll your
science and reason.
Am I rolling to not suck?
You're rolling control and helm.
And I
am rolling to not suck.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna. We don't have the boost from the ship, but I still get to reroll 1d20 from each of the ship sensors.
And now we roll
which is good because I rolled a 17 and an 18. So.
Wow.
Okay, that one's a 4, much better.
Okay.
So
it's a crit for you, isn't it?
If you roll, so if you roll a 1, that's a crit, which counts as 2 successes.
I rolled successes, but I rolled no crits.
Yeah. If you have an applicable focus, anything you roll under your target number counts as a crit.
Anything I roll under my target number at all?
If you have an applicable focus.
Right.
I thought it was just one of these specific. I thought it was like your discipline.
So these give you your target number.
Right.
And so you are manning the helm.
Right. So I have helm operations.
Helm operations.
But I thought it's just anything. So it's anything under the target number. I thought was a success, but anything under the discipline would be a crit.
No, the whole.
Well, I assisted you.
That's right.
I got 2 successes.
Oh, okay.
Great.
Yes. All right.
Okay.
So anything. Okay. So crit under the. Okay.
Let's carry on.
All right. So I've got 3 successes. He gave me 2 successes.
So that's 5. You probably want to bank some momentum for later.
Yeah, I would love to. Bank me some momentum.
How much momentum can he bank?
He can bank.
Is he getting 4?
How many successes?
He's got 5 successes. He needs 2.
So I will bank 3 momentum.
And then you can spend some of that for extra info. I'm going to give you some basic info.
Okay.
And if you're like, I have a specific question, you can spend that momentum to get info about it. But first off, let's do your helm thing. Also.
3 successes.
3 successes. Okay. You take the helm console, and you're immediately aware that although Pathfinder is supposed to be station keeping, it's actually drifting slightly toward the maw of the black hole. or hypermassive or European.
Everything sucks.
Yes.
It's
nothing that like your reaction thrusters can't handle when you catch it right now. But if something were to happen to your engines, it could be terrible.
That never happens.
Don't lose your engines. Don't lose your shields. Oh dear.
Yeah.
Life support. We can lose life support.
Right. So your scans indicate that this is like this massive collection of space junk, almost like the Pacific garbage patch in the 21st century.
All right.
Stuff that has been dumped or broken or just blew apart because of an accident. Hundreds of ships over the course of centuries, probably, and satellites and other bits of space junk for light years in any direction. Noteworthy about that is that the gravitational pull of a black hole is inexorable and long, but it's also very slow. It would take centuries for something to go light years to get here. But the differences in the construction and the types of materials used and so on indicate that this garbage patch has a tremendous variety of types of alien craft, which means that it's coming for many light years around this area. So somehow either people have decided that this has become their garbage disposal, they tow their junk here and dump it, or it's pulling in stuff from much further abroad than a black hole normally does.
I would like to spend a momentum and use my archaeology focus to determine how old the oldest piece of junk here is that we can scan. How long has this been going on?
Which quadrant are we in?
You are in Beta Quadrant, and you are headed toward galactic north on the STO map, because you are following essentially the reverse of the route that Voyager took to get home.
So we're not in Delta yet.
You are heading north out of Romulan space.
Oh boy. All right.
Yeah.
Maybe
the
Romulan junkyard.
Where on the map? Like which?
You're off the border where people sometimes get when they log out next to the edge.
So it's like right above where the Borg section is, or
so north of the top of Beta Quadrant.
North of the Borg.
Yeah.
like above the Borg, or I guess more central.
It's more central. So like take the new Romulus stuff and just go straight up.
Okay.
I honestly thought you were going to say something like it's by your mom's house.
Can I do a scan?
I was going to say Canada, but okay.
That works
scan for like as recognizable ships or.
Okay, so we'll answer your question while you're rolling.
Cool.
So your archaeology info says, okay, there are a few pieces of debris here that are extremely old, like some of them in the neighborhood of 200,000 years.
Ooh.
You know, predecessor civilization type stuff, mostly on the like fragmentary level, a half-inch piece. I'm sorry. 2 centimeters, what have you. The vast majority of the space junk here is 2 centuries or less old.
Okay.
And a lot of it is very recent.
Okay. All right.
There's not really signs that it's, you know, like this is the murder hole where people drag ships and blow them up. It's just where all the junk has accumulated because you've got a giant galactic space drain.
Okay. Captain, it would appear that it's everything that Jesse just said.
Who is this Jesse?
You don't hear the Jesse in your head? It's just me?
Okay, Master, up your skeleton!
Just a quick out-of-character note. I keep hearing the emergency broadcast signal outside. I don't know if anybody else is hearing that, but if we all die, or if the stream just goes dead, we're dead. That's what happened. I'm not sure what's going on, but...
I don't hear it. I got great ears.
I was going to say, wouldn't that go on our phones?
Yeah, sometimes. The other night, there was one going off at the college next to me, but it was just an earthquake drill.
Oh.
Okay, well, let's see. Oh, well,
Wow.
that's a natural 20.
Oh, not so good!
And what am I rolling against, actually?
Well, you're doing some sort of ship recognition scanning, so presumably this involves
I'm guessing
being smart about...
Either reason or insight.
This is going to be reason, because
Reason.
it's ship database as opposed to figuring out people's motivations.
I guess reason and science?
Close enough.
Engineering?
Or, yeah, they're both the same.
Probably be engineering, but if the numbers are the same, it doesn't really make a difference.
Yeah.
So what are we looking at? A natural 20.
Which is good, right?
1 success.
Okay. And the 20 is bad.
The 20 is bad. My console explodes.
In fact, it does. So,
Which also happens to be the console that controls the shields and propulsion.
wait.
I'm in the med bay preparing anti-rad medication.
You start bringing up a much more comprehensive search on some of this debris for database of known ship types and looking for things that are going on. And then you see this strange arcing blue electricity playing over the console. You immediately draw your hands back, knowing better than to get burned by something like that, and the console immediately shorts out, firing sparks everywhere.
It's that one lightning effect from TNG.
Right.
That they use for everything.
You would know effects. So the
I was like, well, that's not good.
Yeah, the information that you're able to get out of it is that there's a little bit of debris that is consistent with small Romulan craft. And
I mean, basically what I was looking for was like, oh, this is the nacelle from a Talis warbird, or this is.
Right, it doesn't look like this was one of their black hole reactors gone awry.
Okay.
But there's chunks of old Romulan vessels that clearly were like an exploration ship that got blown up in a fight and sucked it down the drain. And then the console explodes in your face!
Now you have no face!
Do I have any historical knowledge of this location as a Romulan?
I'm just imagining Ethan getting blown across the room, and then us being like, what other information can we glean?
Well, I mean,
I did ask
the only
what's
animation
going on.
we have.
I asked what's going on.
During early Romulan exploration, information was highly compartmentalized by the military, specifically to keep people from wanting to try to escape from the Empire to habitable other planets.
Sorry. Fair enough.
Are there any Federation, hulks or debris or?
Can't tell. Mr. Yeager's console just exploded.
Yeah,
Mr. Yeager, what's going on with your console there?
Don't everybody come and help me at once.
Okay.
I'm trying to keep us from getting sucked in, so I'm a little busy here.
Bridge to sick bay. Medic team needed on the bridge.
Got the doctor there.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know the doctor was
I'm at
actually
the bridge.
physically present. I thought you were in sick bay.
I thought I would be in.
Oh, if she's in sick bay, then she's called up from sick bay.
Yeah.
Doctor, would you mind hypospraying the tactical officer? What seems to be the bother?
I was just doing a simple scan and the console exploded.
Do you
Let me
think it was an
double-check
internal malfunction or
call
something that came
engineering
from
as well.
without?
So you call down to engineering, and Commander Denova says, things are a little dicey down here right now. Lieutenant, can you give me a minute?
Sure.
Thank you. You hear some sort of mysterious banging, and then a snap, and then she says, no, just replace the fuse. I don't care. Twing! Some metal bouncing off of metal.
Ow, my eye!
Bridge to engineering. This is the captain. What's going on?
We had some sort of a transient surge in the EPS conduit system, sir. It's gone now, but we're just replacing a couple of the fuses that blew.
Right.
Captain, I recommend we vacate the area till we...
Yes. Hell, let's get some distance between us and this system for the moment. Warp 1, if you would.
Aye, sir.
So you start backpedaling. As you're backpedaling, who would be on operations? I guess that's technically Ethan's thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the tuvok.
I clear you
Right.
for duty.
Yes.
Yeah, so you spray his hands
So,
with
yeah.
a nice little numbing agent.
Give him some Chekhov hand bandages.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you force the tactical officer to vacate the console, switch it over, because they're reconfigurable. Hooray, Apple menus.
Yeah.
And you realize that you're being hailed, but it's a very weak signal, barely escaping the black hole's interference.
No.
We're being hailed, Captain.
Put him through.
Okay. It's audio only. You get this extremely staticky signal. It's a, hey, you big ship, whatever, one of our gonna fall past the event horizon. I don't know if you're inclined to be friendly. I sure hope so, but, could use a hand maybe.
I will say.
think we want to go near there.
I'm assuming this is an open channel.
Yes.
Unidentified vessel. This is the U.S.S. Pathfinder. Can you send us your coordinates so we can render assistance?
He says, here, I'll send you the plot for the
Lock onto their signal. We need to get there quick.
Okay.
All right.
So, you pretty clearly can get that they have this weak broadcast signals being tight beamed to you. And it becomes clear that whoever is talking to you is talking about some other ship. It's also trying to broadcast, but it's too close to the event horizon. Its signals are getting completely flooded out by all of the Hawking radiation that comes out of the black hole. And it's essentially like a shuttlecraft, maybe it's halfway between a shuttlecraft and a runabout. Some sort of alien design, looks very boxy and functional. And it is clearly in distress and about to fall into the black hole.
Is it like trying to get out of there, like full thrusters and stuff? But
It doesn't seem to have any engines functioning.
Gotcha.
Is our tractor beam long range enough to lock on to the ship?
Tractor beam is fine, but tractoring stuff that close to an event horizon means tidal shear. You could tear their ship apart.
I see.
Can we beam them out?
Maybe you're awesome. I don't know.
What if I used my focus in astral phenomena?
That's pretty interesting.
Helpful.
So you could try to sort of gently pull them, lift them out with a tractor beam. Maybe if you throw a static warp bubble over the ship so that it gets one...
You mean my focus in warp field dynamics?
Yeah, one constant... what was the word they used? One gravitational constant, that was it.
Yeah, we alter the gravitational constant of the universe.
Right.
Yeah.
So that the ship doesn't get the tidal shear and get torn to pieces.
That was my trick from previous episode.
Well, it was.
Right. It was also
Doesn't mean I can't use it.
No, just
getting credit.
It's patented.
Well, all right, but the ship is meanwhile backpedaling away from the phenomenon because something zapped you and you don't know where it came from.
we could also try firing some torpedoes behind the ship to create a shockwave to push them forward. I saw that in a movie once.
I feel like the additional stress on the shuttle would probably cause them to fall further into the event
So
horizon.
to summarize,
Just rip it apart.
there is something of shuttlecraft size,
Yep.
which means probably a small crew that is being pulled into an event horizon and about to be
Turned into
very
spaghetti.
unhappy.
Yes, spaghettification.
Technical term.
I think that tractoring is probably not going to be. I think we're going to need to evacuate them via transporter,
Yeah.
and their shuttle is going to go bitey-bye.
So, Captain, retreat heading and warp vector ready. If you just need to say the E word and
Thank
gone.
you.
Egress.
We're going to render assistance to these people in need.
I figured as much.
I want you to plot us an intercept course, but one that is going to both get us to where we need to be, but also one that is going to expose us to the least amount of pull into that wonderful singularity.
So a slingshot.
Something like that, yes. Transporter room. This is the bridge.
Aye, Captain. Ensign Ricky here.
The night shift.
I want you to be prepared to. We're going to be doing an emergency evacuation on a unknown shuttlecraft. I want them beamed directly into quarantine status. We have no idea what their situation is, but we need to be safe. Doctor, if you would be so kind as to be prepared to render assistance. Some of them may be injured.
I'm gonna move to Med Bay and prepare my team.
Very well.
Okay.
We can put them in
Transporter room
cargo bay
standby. Tractor at the ready in case for some whatever reason we are not able to get a sufficient lock on to evacuate the personnel from the shuttle.
Aye, Captain.
All right.
I believe that, hold on, I'm trying to come up with sufficient technobabble for this. I believe that Lieutenant Yeager's suggestion actually may have some merit. If we can move if we can generate a warp bubble around the ship to reflect the Hawking radiation, we may be able to get a better tractor lock on them.
There you go. That's worth some right there.
If the need arises where we are unable to attain lock on for transporters, let's be prepared to put that into play.
Sounds like a
That,
solid
Captain, I
plan.
will begin the calculations.
Okay.
If you would be so kind, I'd like to get a number of life science presence on that shuttle, so the transporter will have.
Scanning.
Do I need to roll for that scan?
You can roll for that scan. And the nice thing is that that's a good way to bank more momentum.
Well, then
You only need one
why
success.
Reason plus science, go!
You could roll up the
Later you will
console.
need more momentum.
So I got, sorry, anything under under the total is a success. Anything under my
Your
discipline is a crit.
Is a crit.
Okay, and does it have to be
if you have an appropriate focus, which I think you do?
Okay.
You get like 5
Yeah.
focuses.
Yeah, I've got a lot of focuses. Is it meet or below, or just below?
Equal to or less than.
Okay, so then I have 2 successes.
Okay. So you determine that there is 1 life sign on the shuttlecraft.
1, wow.
And you generate 1 momentum.
Tactical. I'd like you to maintain a state of readiness. If this, for whatever reason, is some sort of trickery, that there may be people lying in wait or other sorts of calamity, I'd like to be at the ready.
All right.
Oh, no.
Sorry, Duncan just sent us the boxy shuttle we found. Hold on.
Aww, I loves it.
It's 8 o'clock. Is it time for a giveaway?
Oh, sure, we can do a giveaway.
Let's do a giveaway.
All right. Who has a question about what we've just done already that they can throw at people to see if they're paying attention?
Or who knows how to unspaghettify someone?
What D&D module was the crew playing?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. What D&D module was the crew playing at the beginning of the stream? Give us the first person to give us that in either Facebook or Twitch. Actually, we've got 10 to give away. The first person to give us that in Facebook and Twitch will win a
There you
book.
go.
Good luck!
I don't remember what the right answer is, but I think Paul does.
I do.
Good.
I was the one who said it.
Yeah, that's why. That's why I think you know the right answer.
Is it Temple of Cinnamon Evil?
It is not Temple of Cinnamon Evil.
Also, you can't win. You're an employee of Cryptic Studios.
So,
I quit.
Okay, you win.
Okay. But while people are coming up with their answers, so Ryan, you're going to plot a course that's going to involve essentially cruising really close to the event horizon of this black hole, not getting caught in it, and then being able to sort of hang out long enough to beam someone off of a shuttlecraft that's about to fall in, and then possibly to get a tractor beam on them if that fails, without your ship sucking.
Yeah, I want to spend all of the momentum. All of it.
Well, I'm going to use that
How much do we
direct
have?
ability again
Okay.
because that was my big idea. So
This is difficulty 4.
Yeah.
Failing means bad things happen to the
okay.
ship.
How much momentum do we have?
Spaghetti.
I have 3.
I mean, it's pooled.
all right, so let me
We have
roll
3.
my assist here
So-
since I am Halby.
If you spend it all, you can purchase
Ask
2 extra dice.
I think that's your
I will do that.
I have given you one success there, sir.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna
I give you nothing.
And if you want to spend your determination,
unfortunately, none of my determinations or none of my values apply here.
okay.
But I have to spend 3 to give you 2 extra dice. I have to spend all 3 momentum to give them 2 extra dice.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think it's worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
Because
not
This is a
explode.
hard one.
Yeah,
Let's
we
definitely
have
not
more-
explode. So 2 more dice.
Is anyone assisting?
I did,
he
and
did.
I provided 1 success.
I can probly assist as well if we need to. Right.
Just got this one under control.
Black holes and baby
So
universes.
what? It's
Here we
control and
go.
con.
Yes.
3 successes. So plus 1. So that's 4.
Oh.
We just do it.
Okay.
So it's like one of those.
All right, everybody.
Okay, everybody,
do
rock the
this
chair.
thing.
Rock
All right,
the
here
chair.
we go.
What's happening up there?
Right.
It is not the wormhole from Star Trek: The Motion Pictures.
Right.
Hey,
You
Paul,
know that
teams me
things
the
are
correct
happening
answer.
because someone gets
Teams
beamed
me the
into
correct
your-
answer, so I know what it is.
Oh, that
So I can just
that
get-
mystery thing that we
Yeah,
do.
Yes.
Right.
So you know that these things are happening down in sick bay because someone gets emergency transported into your quarantine chamber. It's some sort of humanoid alien species currently unknown. It looks like this person has very bad radiation burns over half of their body. They're wearing some sort of utility jumpsuit that seems to be damaged by fire.
Do they look like an actor just starting out their career in heavy prosthetic?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, team. I assume I have a team. I remember I have a team.
Do you have a medical staff?
Yeah.
How many non-humanoid aliens are there in?
There's. I remember somebody was actually
There's not
like.
a lot. There's some, like the Medusans and ex-Calvians, Porto. Yeah.
So I'd like to assign 2 people to treat
Lights of Zayton.
the radiation burn, and someone else to do like a more detailed analysis of his injuries, while I try to like understand this alien physiology better.
Okay.
Does he have 2 hearts? Is he regenerating?
Not a Time Lord. Wrong IP.
He kind of looks like Matt Mercer, though.
He's not a Time Lord, but
And Tiffany just gave him the best care they could ever possibly give it to
Tim
him.
is now fully invested.
he's not a Time Lord, but he could be a Lord of Time.
Stop.
What if he's a lord of the dance?
He's a transformer.
That would be pretty cool too.
All right, so your team gets into their hazard suits and they move in through the force field, start working to stabilize this person, and let's see your reason plus medicine. As you start developing a medical profile about this
I have
as
a
yet
medicine.
unknown alien
Okay,
species.
So
I have a medicine focus.
Yeah, anything under 5,
What?
which is not what you rolled.
What did you say the 2 things were?
Reason. So anything under 15
15.
is a success.
2 success.
2 success.
2 success.
Okay. This humanoid species seems to be following the preserver template. That's good news. It's very similar to humans and Vulcans and what have you.
Thank goodness.
It seems to have amphibious characteristics, so these individuals are probably
It's
capable.
Janeway and Tom's baby.
Oh
No.
no!
Janeway and Tom.
It is not
It's
part
not
of
their baby.
the extended Paris family.
Not the baby.
Yes. But amphibious characteristics, probably is equally at home in waters as in an atmosphere. Extraordinary lung and spleen capacity, all of the sort of stuff that you'd expect like that. It looks like
I always expect extraordinary spleen capacity.
it's important for holding your breath. So
I didn't know that.
Is that what a spleen does? I've never known.
I thought it makes blood vessels when you're a baby.
It holds extra blood.
So,
That's where you go for all the extra blood.
Klingons probably have 4.
yeah, vampires love it.
Yeah.
Why do they bite the neck then?
This particular one is apparently
emergency
female.
blood.
Doesn't really have external characteristics like humans do, so it's hard to tell at a glance. Possibly size and coloration could tell that to a trained observer.
How would I know she's female?
Has eggs.
Bone density.
Are they tasty eggs? No, that was just a curiosity thing. Sorry.
That's Lyra's internal monologue.
So
Wonder if tasty.
seems
That was the Trill's question.
seems
not
to
the-
have some characteristics that you would identify medically as having these female characteristics, but being amphibian maybe is capable of changing those characteristics. You don't know, that's not really important to you right now,
Yes.
so you're not doing that sort of Jurassic Park scan.
Does she seem to have any other, like, after we do a more detailed, like, triage and whatever of her, like, as we try to diagnose her, like, is there anything else other than the burns that she has suffered? Radiation poisoning?
So she's got obviously radiation poisoning to go with the radiation burns, which are
Yeah.
consistent with, looks like likely her shuttle suffered a complete power failure.
Oh.
Engines went out, shields went down, blasts of Hawking radiation, huge gravitational surges. She's lucky to be alive.
Yeah.
And in fact seems to be in some sort of hibernation-like state.
Oh my god, is she in the mycelial forest? What?
More tardigrades, please. No, it seems like she's hibernating the way that a frog would when it buries itself in the mud because of a drought or something like that. The creature will, whatever it is, calls itself, probably survive with the assistance of your excellent medical team who are already deploying chelation chemicals and regenerators and whatnot. And you expect that you can probably bring her around to consciousness in half an hour, 45 minutes.
Would my character know whether or not preparing like a bath, you know, like a thing of water, be more helpful to her than just leaving her on our medical bed?
Probably. It's very likely that her system is used to being hydrated, especially when it's in a high stress condition like this.
Let's prepare a hot bath.
Oh no, it's our spa episode.
All right, so we successfully beamed out
So you beamed this person out. The shuttlecraft falls past the event horizon and turns into a giant strand of spaghetti.
I beep boop.
Kaboom.
I beep boop. The beep like, we received one survivor. I hope she'll make a full recovery, but we're still observing. Do you expect any more?
As we watch the ship go, I'm not watching it.
We were alerted to this problem by another vessel in the area, so I would suggest maintaining a state of elevated alert, Doctor.
I'm gonna scan.
Sure enough,
I wouldn't say
you
that.
get a hail against that open channel saying, "So it looks like things didn't go too well for that other shuttle. Well, thank you for giving it a try."
Well, where are you?
You were able to plot from the communication signal, no roll necessary.
Okay.
And this is another shuttle, same design. So a similar craft, some distance further from the event horizon. And it seems to be currently attached to a chunk of busted hull plating from a much larger, derelict, destroyed ship. It looks like it's doing a salvage operation, essentially.
Unidentified vessel, we were able to safely recover the occupant of that shuttle. However, my medical team informs me that they are in a state of duress. We're doing everything we can to render medical assistance. Do you have any medical personnel aboard your vessel that would be better equipped to render assistance?
Medical personnel? We're just salvage prospectors.
I see. Are you operating from a nearby base that may have medical personnel in case your fellow crew person is in need of immediate assistance?
There's kind of a pause, and then, well, there's an automated medical facility. There's an asteroid that's in a sort of eccentric orbit that a bunch of us have set up as kind of a, I don't know what you would call it. It says something that the universal translator sort of chews on for a little bit and then says, swap meet.
Swamp meat?
Swap meet. We're in Compton.
We're going shopping.
Swap meat.
And would you say, sir, that this automated facility is well versed in providing medical assistance for people of your species?
Well, usually it takes care of minor radiation sickness, cuts and bruises, things like that.
I see. Well, I think that under the circumstances, unless you have any particularly specific medical needs, our vessel may be equally equipped to provide assistance in that regard. If there's anything you can think of that we should be aware of, please advise.
Jesse, are the, and I don't know if I want me to roll for this or not, but are the, does the shuttle and this salvage ship have, like, similar design characteristics that would say they're from the same species, or does it look like they're completely different ships?
Totally different. They're salvaging wreckage from some other species.
Okay, so the salvage ship and the shuttle that blew up.
The salvager and the shuttle that blew up are clearly similar designs.
Okay.
They probably came off the same factory floor.
Okay.
So just FYI, I am wary, which means that I get rerolls for enemies, or like detecting enemies and hazards. Now, I know there's one hazard that I've pretty successfully detected.
It's fairly large and cosmic.
Yeah,
that big thing over there.
But just in case this swap meet that we're going to potentially, because this is what usually happens in these types of scenarios, turns out to not necessarily be on the up and up.
Have you ever been to a swap meet that's on the up and up?
Not on New Romulus.
Where did you get these plasma converters? I'll never tell.
They fell off a truck.
Yeah.
Like a Talshiar truck.
Did we get some winners for those PDFs?
Oh yeah, we gave one away on Twitch. Facebook never responded.
Oh.
Yeah.
Terrible. Well,
You snooze, you lose.
That's Facebook's loss.
Yeah.
Facebook, you need to get together.
Okay, so if you want, you can easily pick up this asteroid that they're talking about by just looking for an asteroid in an eccentric orbit that actually is large enough to have a base and life signs on it. That's not a problem for someone as sophisticated as you. Or you can decide to wait until your inadvertent passenger awakens and ask her, it,
or we could ask the person that's talking to us for the coordinates.
That's also true.
Can I do like a medical forensic look to be like, oh, what kind of you know how like if you're a violent person, you might have more like calluses and scars or like broken bones and stuff.
Right, I get you, to see what sort of history of events they have, like is it hard labor or were they abused as a child because they have all these broken fractures? Or
you're doing Sherlocking. You're looking for like powder burns on the fingers.
I don't know. I think maybe you should
sniffing it.
Make a roll.
Yep.
Does the salvager need help?
So would it be like insight and medicine or something?
I would agree with that assessment.
So 2 successes.
Okay. So your initial impression is that this person has lived a very hard life. They've been through periods of relative deprivation, not enough food, which has probably stunted growth a little bit.
She's a tiny fish person.
Yeah, and they've probably been in a few fights, not a regular, MMA fighter. You would guess her age. It's somewhere around 8 or 9 years old, but appears to be fully adult.
Okay.
Can I tell like what they might eat, or like nutritional supplements that they like? Maybe I can help prepare.
Pretty standard carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen mix. It's likely that based on stomach contents, this person typically eats essentially like replicated nutrient bars. Sticks of a mix of protein and carbohydrates.
Yum.
Prefabricated food.
All right. I prepare a Soylent shake for her.
Okay.
And then I report my updated findings, like her age and like physical condition, to acting captain.
Thank you for the update, Doctor. What is your current prognosis as to our patient's recovery?
Probably sooner than we would expect if she's adult seeming but only 8 or 9 years old. That's my guess.
Very well. Continue to provide...
especially with the help of your expert medical technology.
I do have medical technology.
Continue to provide as much assistance as
and emergency medicine.
see fit. Let's get our
healer.
Let's get our guest back on their feet as soon as possible.
Oh, hey guys, the captain is watching on Facebook.
You're not here.
Paul is reveling in his new authority.
I'm the captain now.
Speech at Truman State.
Yeah.
So
it's my ship now.
Yeah. Mutiny.
I mean, we just assume he's dead,
right? Litter box is all the way down.
So the
captain not appearing in this episode.
The chief engineer calls you again, Captain. We just got another one of those transient power fluxes. This one hit down in deck 17 near one of the hollow decks. Nobody was injured, but what they say about once, twice, 3 times. I'm getting a little worried about this phenomenon.
3 times a lady?
I would appreciate it if you could work with your team to provide us with some insight as to why these keep happening, and if possible, ways we can reconfigure our various defensive systems to prevent that from happening in the future.
I'll see what I can do. Right now I'm just doing damage control as these things come in. There's no obvious vector for this. It's not like we're being shot by someone. And I've done a full scan of all of our systems to see if we have any sort of foreign objects embedded in the hull. They've all come up negative. I'm kind of stumped about where these things are coming from. I'll do my best to blunt all of the incoming damage and repair systems as quickly as I can, but figuring out a hypothesis and deciding where these things are coming from is really more up the science team's alley.
Hello.
Please forward all of your assorted data and telemetry to the various department heads.
All right. Prepare for download. Thoughts.
All right. So I'm gonna open Dropbox on my console.
Is there any correlation between the gravity waves coming off of the singularity and these power spikes that we're having?
It's entirely possible. There would be a strange reaction for the ship to have. We're usually tested for gravity waves, but I can certainly look into it. Why don't I try that right now with this keyboard and this dice?
Did they ever give us the coordinates?
You did. You got the coordinates for the asteroid base. Also, Tiff, a question you had asked earlier and I didn't answer. This individual that you're carrying also has several secondary infections, probably as a result of just living in unsanitary conditions. So
she's got the rickets.
In her own
space pirate.
That is 4 successes because
she's got
2
the
crits.
rickets.
Okay. Wow. All right. What was the question again?
The question was, could the gravity waves be causing these powers?
Okay, it was that question. All right. Only 2 successes required. Bank 2 momentum. You do not think that these are coterminous with the gravity waves that are emitted by the black hole. Something else is causing this.
With my extra momentum that I've just banked, could I have, through researching gravity waves, have accidentally stumbled on a clue that might lead me in the right direction to be looking?
Sure.
All right, I'll spend a momentum on that then.
All right. And so this is going to involve a little bit of kind of montaginess. It's like there's a commercial break, and then we come back from the commercial break, and
give out new prizes.
Dolly Madison zingers.
It's been an hour. The ship is now sort of hanging out next to this very large asteroid that has a janky-looking base built onto it. It looks like something that the Talaxians would use.
So we're not in the...
It's in a long eccentric orbit around the hypermass.
Yes.
So you can see it from here, but you're relatively safe. Like if something were to go horribly wrong with your engines, it would take you quite a while to fall to your death.
Because of black hole and relativity.
Yes.
Relatively safe. Okay, anyway.
Once you've explained
that was
pretty good.
I don't get it.
I know.
Your patient has awakened and given you a little bit of information. First, with incredible effusive thanks for saving
How do you feel?
their life. And the patient...
Oh no. You realize this is because we've all been in the same room with him for too long.
Can someone send us just a big hammer? So we can...
I've already established I'm not a Dalton.
The patient says, I feel remarkably well considering the circumstances. I thought I was going to be dead, and now I awaken and find myself in this strange, brightly lit, comfortable tub.
I offer her the Soylent Shake that I prepared her. It's like, my name is Dr. Lyra Jenin. One of your fellow ships in a shuttle said that you were falling into the event horizon, so we rescued you. And once you're well enough, I suppose we'll take you back home.
I was trying to salvage a piece of unusual technology in hopes that I could resell it, and it detonated and damaged my ship. My systems were disabled. I was unable to navigate. My shields went offline. I was taking heavy radiation damage. The last thing I remember is blacking out as I thought I was about to pass over the event horizon and into inevitable death. Oh, thank you. It tastes like vanilla. My name is Vic Tibb.
Space vanilla.
I am a member of the Cell Gemmy.
Sell pajamas. So for the tech that you were trying to salvage, you have to be careful around these things because you never know what can happen, especially with all this ambient radiation. We're glad that you're safe and alive. Where would you like us to take you?
I'm not sure. I don't really have any family to go to anymore.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And without my salvage ship, I would have to take up a job with someone else on a larger operation, possibly a period of indenture. Unfortunately, I'm in a fairly tight spot.
Do you live out of your shuttle?
Yes.
I see.
Ever since our homeworld became uninhabitable, we're scavengers and salvagers.
When subspace collapsed.
Right.
Damn you.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Why don't you hang on a second and I'll let the captain of our ship know that you're
Thank you
well
so much.
and alive, and we'll see if we can figure out a good way to get you settled in somewhere. Okay, I'll be right back. Enjoy your Soylent Shake.
Okay.
So I head out of medbay. I ask someone from the medical team to watch over her,
keep
and then
an eye.
I also request like a low-level ensign from security to just kind of hang out near the door. But
Just in case.
just in case,
So Ricky's hanging out?
You never know with these frog people.
She's
Ricky's
still-
an engineer.
Ricky's in here.
She's still behind the quarantine field, right?
It's all operations.
Saints and Richie.
Oh, and I tell her that she's behind the quarantine field just in case. We're not sure if our species have compatibility or if we exchange
sure if you
dirty
have the new
bacteria.
smallpox.
Right. It was also very dirty when you picked her up.
Yeah.
We don't want the space rickets.
So I head up to the bridge like, Captain, and I give you the update on our patient's feeling better. She lived out of her shuttle, which is now destroyed. She doesn't have any family to go to. She's a salvager. That's how she makes her money. And she picked up something that exploded and knocked out her systems. I'm not really sure what we should do with her, but it sounds like they're a poor, species. Their planet's uninhabitable. What do you think?
Captain, if I may, if she truly has nowhere to go, it may be useful to have a guide who's familiar with the area as we continue exploring.
Certainly an option.
Yeah. And maybe we can replicate some form of payment for her so she's not completely destitute.
I mean, it is Jaeger's fault that we couldn't come up with a better plan.
Shut up.
Oh, I mean, blah, blah, blah.
So, I'll just if she has a hairy little friend with his own shuttle, I'm gonna be very disappointed because she's 9 years old.
He doesn't want a Neelix on board.
Are you saying this is how we get Neelixes?
Yeah, this is how we get Neelixes.
Do you want Neelixes? This is how we get Neelixes.
I always thought the plural was Neeli.
The plural is Tuvix.
Nelixians. Yeah.
Because we just picked up Kess.
What Vix students?
Red Vix.
I'll look at a nearby.
Frog Kess.
Get a
Frog
yeoman's attention. Yeoman?
Yes, Captain.
Raccacino, pumpkin spice, hot.
Litter box.
Meow.
All right. So the Raccacino is provided by the yeoman as you all decide what you're going to do about your new passenger in this new area of space.
Is she hot?
So, well, in a froggy sort of way.
Nice.
But your passenger, you get a call from sickbay shortly thereafter. Doctor, the passenger is up and about and active and is asking when they can be released.
From the quarantine field. I asked him to run a scan to see if there's any chance that she might infect us or us her.
Okay.
Yeah, full
Ship scan?
I'd say since.
Especially since she's had some infections or something.
Yeah, a full detail quarantine scan, if you will, Doctor.
We got some remnants of various alien bacteria, things of that nature, but we gave her the full pan immunity.
She's immune to pans.
All right.
If you want to be cautious, we can keep them under observation. They use a they pronoun, apparently, is preferred.
Oh, okay. Instead of she.
Yeah. I didn't ask.
Yeah.
Just
Very well.
I suggest maybe we ask them to be patient just a little bit longer, and I'll have an answer for them within the hour.
all right. I'll pass that along, Doctor. So, meanwhile, Thox, one other thing. You were scanning to get sort of a general idea of what's going on with this nonsense and its gravity waves and whatnot. And you discover something extremely unexpected now that you've been taking an in-depth scan of this hypermass, which is there's a structure in it.
Inside the hypermass.
Poking out of it at right angles to the accretion disk. There's a 20-kilometer long tower-like structure. You have no idea how it survives there or what it's made out of. It literally descends into the center of the hypermass.
I would like to perform a scan to determine if the pull of the black hole is even eroding this object, like if there's anything coming off of it, or if it is, in fact, seemingly immune to the effects of the gravitational force.
All right, begin scanning.
You may also want to scan for option number 3. It's the source of the...
Oh, yeah, okay, sure.
And the floor is lava.
How did we not notice that coming in?
That is...
Compared to the size of the hypermass, 20 kilometers is microscopic.
Yeah.
And the massive tidal things that you've got going on, and the fact that traditional scanners cannot penetrate the event horizon because no signal comes back. This is the sort of thing that only when Fox started really digging into it became apparent.
Also, as soon as we got in range of the event horizon, we got that screen fuzzy effect.
Yeah.
Right.
We couldn't see
What about
anything.
now?
3 successes.
Okay.
It happens.
All right. So, what you can tell, this is made out of some sort of super dense material. Scans can't penetrate it because of that. And it has an extremely powerful structural integrity field. So someone built this thing specifically to be able to survive the pressures of a black hole.
Okay.
Who knows why?
Wow. Captain, you might want to come and take a look at this. And so I'll pull up
I walk over to the console.
I'll pull up a version of the scan that allows us to see the black hole. Light can't escape, or any other kind of radiation. It's a sort of a computer artist interpretation. Yes, exactly. Captain, this structure that I've taken in the last few minutes to calling the Spire is seemingly just constructed to be immune to the effects of the singularity. It is not being pulled in. It is staying exactly center in the middle of the black hole.
Well, that's
up there with Dyson spheres in terms of engineering feats.
Yeah.
Well, there goes how science works.
I wonder if our guests would know
collect
anything
as much
about that.
data on this as possible.
Unfortunately,
intrigued.
Captain, due to where it is situated, that will be very difficult. But I will. I am already scanning as much as I can. There's certainly several papers that could be written on a phenomena like this.
They certainly could
Can we launch a
provide
probe?
visual and.
You could launch a probe. Nothing will come back.
Exactly.
Well, what I mean is, we do like the Pluto mission. We just send something to get as close as possible.
The
take
problem
pictures.
is the radio wave, send the pictures back, gets sucked into the black hole.
Well, we won't. We'll use subspace.
How did the shuttle
Quite
communicate with us? The shuttle was outside the event horizon. Anything that gets past the event horizon, for those who aren't familiar with black hole physics, the event horizon is the point of no return. Once you hit that limit, nothing escapes, not even light.
Except for the Spire, apparently.
So apparently this structure is immune to that somehow. Now, keep in mind that if you were able to survive getting past the event horizon, a starship could theoretically warp out of it because you're moving faster than light. You're actually bending space around you. If your structural integrity field was powerful enough, you could penetrate the event horizon of a black hole and get out. But
I believe that maneuver was used during the Zenkethi War.
Yes. Making a probe that can survive this sort of thing, it would be a Herculean engineering feat because of the miniaturization of technology involved.
So what are the stats of Lieutenant Genova?
I don't want to send a probe into the black hole. I want to send one whizzing past the Spire.
Nearby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I want to get closer to the Spire. We can.
Oh wait.
Scan it.
That's actually. What if we fired a probe at just enough distance and just enough speed to orbit the event horizon? Eventually, the orbit would decay. It would decay very quickly, but we might have a few minutes of being able to get stronger data.
Why don't I go ask our guest if she knows anything about it, and maybe
Make a show.
Okay, so you head back down to Sick Bay to talk to Victor. The frog person is sort of checking out the force field, going, "This is really amazing technology. Your ship is marvelous, and it's so spacious and roomy in here. Doctor, I'm so glad to see you. I'm feeling much better now."
Excellent. I actually have a proposal for you. Please hear me out. And if you are amenable, then I will let our captain know. We are new to this area. Would you be willing to act as our guide for the day? And we will pay you in rations and maybe something else that we can negotiate.
That sounds like an entirely equitable agreement.
Excellent. Let me start by asking if you know anything about the tower sticking out of the black hole.
Ah, so you're new to this area of space, I take it.
Yes, that's why we would love to have you be our guide.
We hate
Guide.
from around
Guide.
I can tell you all sorts of things about this area. This particular hypermass we call the Vortex.
The Vortex.
It's unusual. I'm not really a scientist, but what I've gleaned is that it draws in things from a large distance away, further than a hypermass normally should. The object in the middle is a great mystery. People call it the needle.
Damn!
Because Spire was taken by the Dyson sphere.
Or it's from Seattle.
Yeah. Nobody knows who made it or how long it's been there or what it's for. No one's ever even been able to get any information about it. Someone once tried firing a photon torpedo with warp sustainers at it in order to see if they could get information, but it bounced off of the hull and then was sucked into the hypermass. The sort of, there's a stream of wreckage that you can see on the long-range scans. We call the wave stream because it's like a giant river in space.
Of wreckage.
And yes, things that get wrecked get sort of sucked into the current and then drawn down into the vortex over the course of hundreds or even thousands of years. We've found some very, very old wreckage in here. My people, the Selgemi, are salvagers, like I said, since our planet was irradiated and became uninhabitable. So the salvage here is our source of income and our way of life now. We have a few bases on some of the asteroids around here, and we trade pieces of salvage and wreckage with other species that come by from time to time. And there are a few lucky souls who have their own trading vessels and will go out and make trades with other species. The needle itself, a giant mystery. We don't know if it creates the hypermass or if it was built to study it or what's inside of it. All that anyone really can say for sure is that this hypermass certainly works in ways that are a little unusual for conventional physics. Yeah. Oh, one other thing. Every once in a while, objects will hit at exactly perpendicular to the plane of the ecliptic for the hypermass. And when they do, they just sort of disappear.
Like vanish or explode?
They vanish completely. Nobody knows where they go or what happens to them. We call this phenomenon the undertow.
That's very disturbing. Okay. I asked the medical team if it's safe to let her out. I use my medical technology, I guess, to check if it'll be safe to drop the quarantine field.
Go ahead, make a roll for me.
I feel like that exposition just foreshadowed that at some point I'm going to be asked to thread the needle.
At least one success, right?
That's your what?
So I guess it would be medicine or science, and
also I'm disappointed that the hypermass is not called the haystack.
Well, either way, it's one success.
Yes.
Wow.
No, if it's medicine,
especially because like there's so much debris.
As far as Starfleet's concerned, you folks discovered it. You can name it what you want.
Yeah.
Reason in science or reason in medicine?
You're going to use reason in medicine.
2 successes.
Okay.
Thank you.
So you determine a couple of things. Your
momentum?
Was that?
Any momentum?
No momentum.
Oh.
Your pan immunity has wiped out foreign bacteria and hostile viruses and things like that, but they are still carrying some sort of fungal infection that your traditional medical technology does not wipe out. This
cordyceps.
It could be symbiotic. That's not uncommon among some amphibians. But you don't know enough about the species right now to know. You haven't built up a full biological workup of them. You were doing trauma care.
Yeah. I let her know about the fungal presence that she's carrying that we're not sure if it's safe for us. And I asked her if there's anything I can give her to alleviate her of boredom until we can figure it out for sure.
I don't want to say your body's a fungal
would she want to read, play with toys, eat more food?
It's a doctor's office. Give her a copy of Highlights for Kids.
Yeah, she's nice.
And one of those wooden things on the wires that you run from one end to the other.
Right.
The timber toes.
Okay. So
Lincoln Logs.
You fetch them a pad, pass that through the quarantine field, and they seem to pick up the tactile interface very quickly. And are more than happy to look at bits of historical data.
Is she impressed by the tech of it?
Like that. Obviously, it says, where did you folk come from? Your ship has technology that I haven't seen in this part of space ever before.
I kind of just gesture south.
Okay, and admittedly, they do live essentially in a space garbage patch, so...
Oh my god, she's a Garbage Patch Kid!
Oh no, we come from France.
Okay, good. And then
are we close enough?
if you're hungry and need more food, let anyone down here know.
I don't believe. I do not believe so.
You're not experiencing crazy time dilation.
Okay. Yeah.
Relatively speaking.
Yeah, 10 minutes in the black hole is 300 years everywhere else.
Yeah. So I report back to the captain the update on the needle, the vortex, the wave stream, and the undertow. Most disturbing undertow.
Yeah. If you'd be so kind as to forward that information to the science department, I would like the science team to cross-index with any sort of
needle,
library
undertow.
computer entries, looking for the keywords that have been provided. It's quite possible that Federation and Starfleet have encountered people who have
or from the vortex
either ran into this particular phenomenon before or something similar.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, I'll go through the historical database.
Helm, I'm curious. Your folk have considerable experience working with singularities and the various hazards involved with them.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that you can think of, even like urban legends, about what it would take to devise, and I point at the object sticking out of a singularity, something that could resist that type of gravimetric pressure for untold periods of time without any sort of serious structural damage?
And a proton torpedo bounces off of it.
I'm afraid that's classified.
So how do singularity cores not, suck the entire ship? Like implode?
Structural integrity fields are wonderful technobabble.
Magic.
Yeah.
Space magic.
So
force fields.
Yeah, two things: force fields or structural integrity fields. One, which allows things to resist immense tidal forces and stresses, and two, warp technology is essentially bending space, and that's the same thing that intense gravity does. So once you understand warp technology, you have the basis for starting to understand how to deal with hypermassive singularities like this. Constructing something like that is a ridiculous feat of engineering because just the basic structure itself has to be made of something that can be amplified by a structural integrity field to a level that can survive those tidal forces. And that's some kind of unobtainium. The material properties to do that would be inconceivable even to the Romulans.
You keep using that word. I don't think it means.
I think it means exactly what it does. So, Captain, as for urban legends, given our history with the Tel Shiar, we have lots of urban legends. Lots of urban legends.
Let's skip the ones that involve hook hands on car doors.
But I'm going to invoke some soft canon and put that in here, which is that the Romulan sublight war, way back in the day, how did the Romulans get to Earth in order to fight in a sublight war if they didn't have warp drive? Hey, not too shabby.
Yeah, Duncan drew us the Cell Jetty scavenger.
That's very
Looking
nice.
good.
Yeah.
They're pretty rad.
So she is hot.
They
are hot.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Preferred pronoun, thank you. The Romulans, and this is soft canon, like I said, the Romulans got to Earth by using containment bottles that they would use to generate a singularity implosion that created a wormhole. So they could basically generate a very brief burst of a singularity and then use that to wormhole them to a destination. Not nearly as effective as warp drive because you'll only get one shot per canister. It's very crude and dangerous, but that was sort of the beginnings of their singularity-based technology for transport. So the idea of using a singularity as more than just a power source, but as like a doorway. It's known or postulated, I guess, that singularities go to other places, that there's an exit point. If this is literally like a drain from a space stream of some sort, all of this garbage is going somewhere else. Whatever isn't completely annihilated.
The other side.
I mean, it's just going to Malon space.
It's going to Narnia.
Mr. Tumnus.
So I then proceed to explain a whole lot of technological bullshit that we just heard. Because that's insane.
So part of the soft canon is that's why the Romulans don't have psionic powers anymore, because all their powerful psychics were the navigators who did the predictive modeling so that they could use the the wormhole jumps, but they mostly died during the Sublight War.
Too much spice.
Yeah.
Too much the warp of the warp.
What?
The warp? Does nobody else play 40k? Okay, I'll just keep my references to myself then.
You keep that heresy to yourself.
Let's also tap into some of our resources here that if we could get any sort of communication with folk at the various Dyson spheres, the material used to construct those wondrous things may have maybe some insight as to if we can build something like that. Perhaps there could be some sort of connection.
Presumably, they're
Iconian technology.
Yeah, presumably we'd have at least a database of what materials.
Well, you can always make
this has a little bit of a whiff of Iconian mischief.
It's true. I can call.
Call Sub-Commander Kale, who runs Alliance Joint Command.
The other Kale.
K-A-O-L.
Yeah.
Yes.
The one who's also not spelled like the vegetable.
Well, I mean, that stuff should be in our database anyway.
Right, but it never hurts to call somebody who's like on site, who's
has hands-on experience.
Yeah, I'll phone a friend.
All right.
I have some kale at home in the fridge.
Where I'm going with this, by the way, is a momentum use.
Okay.
We still have some, yeah?
Do we have momentum left?
Do we have momentum?
Yeah, we got 2 momentums.
Okay.
One momentum, sorry.
One momentum. Well, let's burn one of those as kind of like a montage of this sciencing because we can use this to obtain information.
Sciencing.
So see if there's any sort of anybody at any one of the Dyson spheres or any Iconian experts to basically say, either that could be something the Iconians did, or nope, that has nothing to do with the Iconians. There's the Pyconians.
So after the commercial break, we come back to our Romulan exchange officer talking on the screen with Sub-Commander Kale.
Or at least I'm trying to, but unfortunately the break in subspace right across the
after the
cannot connect subspace message.
Kale's saying, well, based on the schematics that you've sent us, the architectural design doesn't match the Iconians. This is someone else. And besides, why would the Iconians need to use a singularity as a gateway? Their own gateway technology allows them to create a gate anywhere, anytime.
Is that face talking on a monitor right
now?
Is it possible that it could represent an earlier stage in Iconian development before they reach the stage that we are aware of? Maybe this could be an earlier foray into intergalactic or interstellar travel.
I think that the structural engineering involved in making this is actually more difficult than a Dyson sphere. By the time that the Iconians were able to build the Dyson spheres, we know they built them to harvest all omega molecules to make their giant subspace jumps, their massive super gateways. They wouldn't need to build something like this. This is an alternate technological evolution. Some other species, non-Iconian, built this, but for mysterious reasons. I couldn't say why without actually getting inside or getting some telemetry from it. But what I can tell you is this thing has to be getting some sort of signal out to someone, somewhere.
Maybe that's why we have those power surges.
Oh, sorry. Oh, smart. Captain.
Yes.
I have a crazy science idea.
If you're about to say that's why we're getting the power surges,
that's best science.
Let's hear it.
Keeping in mind that this is okay. Imagine a lot more technical about going with this. If we were to move away from the singularity at, say, a factor of warp 5, and then turn around, attach a probe to the front of the hull, and then warp back to this spot. When we dropped out of warp, if we detach the probe at the same time, the velocity and the warp bubble may protect it enough to bring it inside the event horizon and past it to the point where it could perhaps safely gather information. Now, I'm not entirely sure how we would get it out again, but at least it would safely be able to scan the object, and we could work on part 2 of the plan after that.
And beep boop.
Do you want the frog person involved in this discussion?
Considering
Considering
the rather dangerous nature of what could happen if we got anything wrong happen when we get that close to an event singularity. Why don't you go to Astrometrics and start working on a holographic reproductive model of this?
Absolutely, Captain, right away.
In other words, let's run a few simulations
We'll run it by
before we
her.
start trying this in real time.
Victor says that's actually similar to the photon torpedo shot. They put warp sustainers on it because the warp bubble made it so that it could pass through the event horizon.
Capable.
If only we had small vessels aboard with warp drive.
I know, something that an expert pilot can fly through the event horizon.
Oh, that works too.
So what I'm hearing is
we're gonna throw the rod and let you go black hole.
You want me to thread the needle?
Roll credits.
Roll dice.
Good night, everyone.
That's affirmative, Ghost Rider.
Yeah,
I like this planet.
And I see no reason why the entire senior staff shouldn't be on the shuttle.
Let's take a runabout. Make it a party.
Yeah.
We'll take fungus.
Yeah, keep going. I'll stay.
I'll run some simulations of the shuttle idea too. Yes.
It's not safe for the captain to go. Obviously, the captain should stay behind.
Well, the captain's not here. Oh, you meant the acting captain.
Unlike certain other Starfleet captains, we're not going to be sending the entire senior staff into a dangerous
While
away
they
team
figure
mission.
this out, and I kind of let her know, our guest, them know what we're thinking, I try to do more research on their fungal friend.
Okay.
So I'm gonna follow the captain's orders, and I think that there's like a long task mechanic, isn't there?
There's Well, I have a specific thing.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right. So first,
you're gonna die.
Game designer gonna game design.
Yeah. First, you're making your check, which is going to be reason and medicine.
That's one success.
One success.
What?
That is very sad. All right.
When you say sad,
It's
We
not
all die.
Terrible, but it does mean that you start doing a workup on your visitor's fungal infection, and you're like, something familiar about this, but I can't quite place it. No.
tastes like mushrooms.
Space rickets.
Meanwhile,
Well, can I use my? Doesn't smell as good anymore. Determination.
you can use determination to roll another die, I believe.
You can.
There's a thing on here that
You can.
says.
Well, if you have an applicable value.
Well, because no.
you can spend your determination to.
I do not.
Buy a dice that has already rolled a crit.
Oh, it doesn't buy a new die.
It buys a die that's already rolled a crit.
What are your values?
Oh, but it doesn't match any of my values. Never mind. I'm just like, I
Not
lick
sure
it.
yet. Okay, so you're doing that. While this is going on, there's
Tasting the fungus.
people going about doing their business in their various labs and rooms and things like that, and main power goes out.
Red alert.
The emergency lights come on.
What are the odds that this would happen?
Pretty good. Yeah, pretty good.
I mean, I thought we
So
were.
that means our shields are down.
Have any of you ever watched the show?
I scrambled the team to prepare anti-radiation medicine
I thought
and
we
get
were
it
at a
ready
safe
to be
distance.
dispersed.
Full reverse. Full reverse.
We have enough time to fix this before we get sucked into the.
Yes, you have plenty of time before you fall into your death.
Yeah.
Plenty of time to get cooked by Hawking radiation.
I mean,
or cut apart by scavengers.
I feel like Captain Maroney would be really put out if we
all get cooked.
Break the ship.
If the ship gets sucked into a black hole on our first foray without him.
I can guarantee you, I'll be pretty put out if we get sucked into a black hole.
Yeah, but you won't matter because you'll be dead.
I'm pretty sure we'll all actually be pretty put in.
Yeah. Oh.
But not him.
So,
so
engineering to
the
the captain.
quarantine
You
thing
may have
is
noticed
on.
main power has gone out. We just suffered a massive transient power surge in the EPS conduits that's gone through the main energizer. Main energizer's been blown. This is like a 2-hour repair job, Captain.
You're gonna need to have that time.
How long do we have until we get sucked in? An hour and 50 minutes, I'm assuming?
No, more like 3 days.
Okay.
Oh.
So 2 hours is fine.
No,
fine.
unless the scavengers find you and steal your ship bits.
Now, you still have auxiliary power and emergency power. You could fire phasers if you need to. Little scavengers and shuttlecraft are not a huge threat to you. But this is a serious inconvenience.
Are we by any chance drifting towards the stream that leads into the black hole?
Very slowly.
Okay.
Are we going to be sucked in by the undertow?
Eventually.
It'll take us 3 days to get sucked in.
Yeah.
Listen,
You've got plenty of time.
3 days. It's going to be a long stream, people.
Relatively speaking.
Yes. This is the
I already
stream
made that
sucks.
joke twice.
You heard it here first.
But it's funnier when I make it.
No.
Well, obviously we need to get
It's
that
funnier the third
operational
time.
as soon as possible. What I want from you as soon as possible as well is a working plan to use what power we have remaining to safeguard our personnel from the local phenomenon radiation effects. It's not going to do us. It's not going to do us any good to work towards getting out of here if we're also having our innards cooked out by Hawking radiation.
We'll make sure that auxiliary power is diverted to the defense screens, and then you hear the sound, the unmistakable sound of phaser fire, followed by a thump.
Where's this?
Tactical.
This is over the comm badge from engineering.
Okay.
Security engineering.
Do transporters have power?
No, main power is out. Transporters are offline, warp drive is offline, shields are down.
The turbo
You have turbo lifts, you have auxiliary, you have emergency. You can do life support, you can fire weapons, it'll drain your power pretty rapidly if you really need to. You can do station keeping with the auxiliary power.
So, once I hear that'll be my first thing is as I'm bolting for the turbo lift, the security to engineering.
On our way, sir.
Medical team is spreading out across the ship to give out
I
anti-rad
already
medicine.
basically called red alert.
Yeah, the ship's already at red alert.
But I'm
Usually when
also
power
now
goes out,
adding
it goes automatically.
security all decks. Boarding status is on full alert. Weapons to stun.
We're not seeing any boarding signatures, Captain, comes the shouts from one of the security teams.
I mean, like physically.
But we're under fire.
From what and by whom?
Someone's firing phasers at us from somewhere. I'm in Cargo Bay 3. It's dark in here.
Oh no, the crews are attacking!
We need to get
Maybe
the
shot by
power
three.
back.
You need to replicate a lantern right now and turn it on. Then
Would
go
it be-
northwest and open a door.
Would it be possible? I know this is another crazy science idea, but that's what I got. To remodulate the deflector dish to collect the Hawking radiation that's pounding our ship and turn it into at least a power boost, if not an ability to turn main power back on.
You can do that with the buster collectors.
Okay.
Reroute it for the main deflector.
But first you're going to have to play the Omega Particle game.
I'm good at that, so.
Ryan,
I played a lot of DDR in high school.
Can I, does the ship have any kind of docking mechanism to attach itself to the asteroid?
Yes,
so we
the
don't...
ship is actually capable of landing on a planet's surface. It's capable of docking with things. This is a massive asteroid, several kilometers across. So you could just grab onto it with your docking assembly if you wanted to, and pull the asteroid with you inside.
Make it super easy for people to get up.
Give it a big space hug.
Considering what's going on and we're having people shooting at people on our ship, all personnel bridge, ready phasers.
Commander, I'd like to get your Captain, I'd like to get your go ahead to turn on the Musad collectors to give us a power boost.
Make it so.
All right.
Captain, I'd like to use the my plasma
out of the turbo lift. Immediately, a phaser is fired down the hallway at you, and then you hear someone screaming at the top of their lungs. You won't get me! You'll never get me! Ah! And then more random phaser fire. It's on some medium setting that would probably cook you.
Personal shields losing power.
Well, I wait the 2 seconds for my shields to recharge.
Okay.
Fikey.
And then I'll yell out, it's like, ship security, hold your fire.
Okay. You hear another, no, you'll never catch me! And another phaser beam. Doctor, your patient is with you, so you know it's not them. This is someone else.
All right.
I asked them how they're feeling, if they've seen anything like this before.
No, this is new to me.
All right, stay close to me.
Do I know roughly where they are?
Yeah, you basically, the doors have opened into main engineering. There's a hallway that goes down to the big engineering area. They're at the other end of this hall, so somewhere in the room that has the situation table. It's got the picture of a Pathfinder on it.
Familiar.
Where they do, okay, let's talk about our engineering problem over the table.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is main engineering.
Where Jordan's there to eat
Okay.
lunch.
So you're gonna reflect the phaser off the bulkhead. Advanced calculation.
I'm an
I was watching
augment.
season 3 of Daredevil.
I'm an augment, not a cyborg.
Would you recognize all the voices of the different people on board?
Do I recognize the voice?
Insight plus. Oh, what would be a good call for knowing your crew members?
Command?
Probably a command thing.
Yep. Or commander security.
Ooh, shiny.
That's 3 successes.
Okay.
It's Ensign Ricky.
No, it's not Ensign Ricky.
Ensign Dicky?
It's your mom.
Ensign Sticky.
Oh, I hate Ensign
Oh,
It's
man.
No one wants Ensign
Lieutenant
Sticky.
Sovat, a Vulcan engineer,
Oh.
is apparently having a complete freak out and meltdown.
We might have a psychic
He needs
situation
a
again.
space hug.
Alright, yeah, I want to know, he's Vulcan.
I forgot which game I was playing for a second. I thought it was our Friday game, and I was like, psychic situation.
Lightning bolt.
I know exactly where he is.
Yeah, because he's fired at you 3 times.
Sure. I'm gonna get the computer security override. Computer, increase the gravity on deck plate 69J, quadrant G, 7 times.
Oh.
No more gravity.
Wow, okay. That's a pretty smooth maneuver.
Hey,
Working.
Derpy question. Hasn't been like 7 years since the last time he kind of went off the rails, right? Okay.
Not that. Okay, so you're working. Gravity increase. Followed by a boom.
Aww.
Yeah. So, he's on the ground, I take it?
Yes.
He's a Vulcan, and I don't know if he can get up.
Right, but you've only got like a little bit of emergency lighting and the red glow coming out. Your eyesight, of course, is better than perfect.
Oh my god, tomorrow's Halloween. You're gonna die.
You can see Sovat is on the ground and is like reaching to try and get his phaser back, and then just a little bit behind him, over by the situation table, is Commander Denova passed out, and there's a phaser burn on her back.
Oh no. So I'll bump up the stun to maximum.
Okay.
And I'm also gonna aim and calculate for the gravity.
Okay.
Because the particles will turn.
Will bend.
Will bend.
All right.
And
Don't roll 2 20s, Chris. I'm counting on you.
Or roll 2 20s, because it'll be hilarious.
Listen, this is me.
He's gonna...
2 nat 20s.
Too much suspense.
I like how Tiffany's covering her eyes with 2 Vulcan symbols.
Nice.
Also, Paul Reed just joined the Facebook chat, so there's a fake Paul Reed somewhere.
Oh, it was me.
And I'm assuming it's the one in this room.
It was
tell
me.
us something only the real Paul would know.
The alien has the space rickets.
Okay, good enough.
You're walking
All right.
through the desert, you see a turtle.
So, fortunately, this is
What's
the
a
thing I'm
turtle?
pretty good at. That's 3 successes.
All right.
So you phaser Lieutenant Sovat.
It's a cool effect as the beam slightly dips
Yeah,
down.
bends
as
a
it hits
little
the
bit,
gravity.
hits him right in the back of the neck, and he lets out a sort of anguish, and then his eyes roll up, and he passes out.
Does he drool?
So you know that now we're going to make a
Vulcan
mission that has this
doesn't
weird
drill us.
gravity on ground, and you're going to have to make like arcing phaser effects.
It's the reverse of that Dead Space level where the gravity shoots you into the ceiling.
Okay. Security, Captain, we're getting scattered reports of combats breaking out on decks 3, 7, 13.
With whom?
Other members of the crew. People are just losing their minds.
All right, well, do what we can to bring an end to this in a non-lethal fashion, if you would, please.
Yeah. I want to check Denova, make sure.
She's badly injured.
Okay,
She
yeah.
got hit on deep fat fry.
All right.
So-
So I'm gonna have security team. Is my security people here
All right.
yet?
3 of your security team shows up.
Yeah. So we discontinue the gravity.
Ensigns Slicky and Schlicky.
Oh, wow.
Both got the space whatever.
We
is
should
going
never
on.
stop by that planet.
Yeah. They both got the space whatevers.
The icky planet.
We had to stun them.
Oh, what?
We're not immune. People are just going bonkers and starting to shoot people. Sir?
Do we have to roll bonkers rolls?
What species?
Baby?
What species is Schlicky and Slicky?
Schlicky's human and Slicky's.
You were trying to make this a
android.
racist thing, weren't you?
I told you I was trying to make this a racist thing.
Spacist.
Oh no.
So we only know for certain right now that Vulcans are affected.
Well, now you know that also non-Vulcans are.
Yeah, one human, one Andorian. Your security guys.
Oh, my security guys are bad shit.
You have a security team of 5 people. 3 of them show up, and they're like, "We had to stun the other 2."
I thought the 2 guys that showed up were.
Use your genetically engineered intellect.
Listen, my character is genetically engineered. I'm an idiot.
Now, what you don't realize is that the 3 who showed up were all Vulcans, and they're saying the other 2 were crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
What do we do, sir? There's apparently fighting breaking out all over the ship.
All right. Lockdown engineering. Tie him up. Good.
Zip ties.
Yep. And then
the double zip tie because it's a Vulcan.
And then I'll take Denova emergency transport to sickbay.
Transporters are offline.
Is there
no main power?
Well, how's my Denovan power collector?
Why don't you try emergency carrier?
Let's get a roll on that.
All right.
Then I will take Denova to sickbay.
Okay. So
Is there anyone in sick bay, like medical staff? No, they're all around the ship. Never mind.
people are responding to fights that are breaking out. And
This is me coming to you with an important life lesson about karma. You see, I'd already rolled before Jesse called for a roll and only gotten 2 successes and thought that wasn't enough. So when he called for a roll, I re-rolled. And what I rolled was an 18 and a 20.
You filthy cheater.
I got exactly what I deserved.
It's true.
Don't be like me.
That's more correct.
That's a lesson I've always been good.
Yeah, so one success and a 20.
All right. So you start working to get the buzzard collectors to draw in the ambient radiation. But unfortunately, the buzzard collectors are essentially they're giant magnetic vacuum sweepers that draw in material so that it can fuel matter-antimatter reaction. And it starts drawing in some of the debris from the debris field. Now, this is normal. You have navigational deflectors to get rid of all of the hazardous stuff.
They're offline.
Well, you've got defense screens and navigational deflectors because you have auxiliary power.
Right.
So you're not going to get hulled by a 2-inch piece of rock. But there's exotic matter in that debris field of very, very, very old starships, as we previously established. The sorts of things that are super dense and just punch right through a navigational deflector, much harder than a 2-inch rock. Your ship's getting wrecked, Thomas.
This is what you get for being more important than the rest of us.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just want to say Mike did it.
We've all done it. Everyone's done something.
So the buzzard collectors flare up, and then there's this horrible wrenching sound. You hear this cataclysmic crashing noise, and then everything shakes. Ah!
Right.
That was luck.
You're on the right.
We employ him for game design, not knowing his directions.
And and Ensign Ricky calls up, "This is main engineering. We've just taken catastrophic damage to the starboard warp nacelle. It's a good thing the mains are offline, or the ship would have exploded."
Well, it's always
my bad,
good to find
Captain.
the silver lining in that.
And just then, power turns back on.
Boom! Well, folks, it's been a fun stream.
All right, so Pathfinder's having a bad day.
Sorry.
Engineering, please begin immediate level 1 damage control to preserve the ship from any sort of core breaches.
Sending damage control teams up to the nacelle now.
Very good.
I'd like to know, because me and Victiv were still hanging out in the med bay, if anyone's brought people to the med bay, like, hey, this person went crazy and shot at us, so we had to stun them. Or
Yes, security teams have started bringing personnel into sickbay.
Okay.
So they drag in like 3 different people, 2 human, 1 Vulcan.
Okay.
The first thing you notice is that all of them are running a very high fever.
Okay.
103, 104
So I'll
range.
separate the 2 groups. One is like injured by crazy, and then the crazies.
Right. The people injured by crazy, it's generally like they've been shot with phasers, kind of indiscriminately. And it gives you the scary feeling that means people are just indiscriminately firing phasers on high-powered settings inside of a ship. And if someone gets the hull and cuts it open, that can be very bad for an entire deck.
Can I beep boop that to the captain and be like, can you send out a shipwide announcement?
Of course you can.
Yeah, have people watch their phaser settings, or else we're all gonna die.
Well, definitely
And then-
That's not going to help with the
send
crazy
word
people,
along.
though.
No,
Doctor,
no,
I
that's
need
true,
you
but,
to give me a assessment of what is causing the members of the crew to become homicidal.
Research the crazy.
All right, make another roll.
So everyone who's attacking right now is using like phasers of the ship.
Yeah, standard start with phasers.
Is there a way for the captain to like put out a code that just locks all ship associated phasers?
That seems reasonable and in keeping with Star Trek technology. You can certainly
That's like
try to
asking
do a
questions.
security override, lock down all shipboard phaser weapons.
Okay.
Let's make that so post-haste,
I mean, maybe
the
it's really
exception
good
being security personnel.
And you know whose
Security
weapon
personnel
wouldn't be
wouldn't be
controlled by that?
Why don't we just
Me?
lock down all Captain? Why don't if security personnel are also affected? It may be more prudent to just lock down all phasers on the ship. There's no reason for us to have phasers online.
Can you do that?
Okay, so what do you got, Tim?
I got
Only
one
plasma.
So you add that to
I have
another
a bot
success.
left. Let's go.
You may take
You and me,
this.
we're going to protect the entire ship.
Yep.
Come to me!
This is going to be the best
I was
buddy cop
born with
movie
weapons
ever.
at the end of each of my fingers.
That's true. Between the four of us, we might be having a competent security team with all the phasers go down.
And
Thanks.
Well, especially with all
every
like
three
all the hopping
successes
that
you get
she
on
can
a
do.
follow-up
It's all
test,
the
you may take one of these cards of your choice.
Ooh, it's like chocolate. I mean, except different.
It's really nothing like
And
chocolate.
I'm going to move these cards in front of your seat so that you can see what they say on here.
Okay.
And you can get advice from your cohorts here about what might be worth
I feel
looking
like
at.
I've seen this
Is it?
before.
Are these cards like how like crazy she's go? Like what the voices in her head are telling her?
Son of a bitch.
What?
There's this word that I feel like I've seen before on my STO days, but it's not ringing any bells
Yeah,
right
well,
now.
your
So what's the word?
Your
What's the
character
word?
would
Anyway,
definitely
say the
know
word.
what
Knows.
those are.
Beep boop, Captain.
Yes.
I've discovered that these people seem to have been infected by the Ilachi. And they're turning them into incubators for more Ilachi. And, but it seems the strain is slightly different. Maybe because of something related to the Vortex where we are. Maybe it's changing their DNA makeup or something. I think I need to do more research.
Captain, permission to let out a loud, violent exclamation.
I'm turning my plasma pistol to maximum.
I'm setting my bot left.
The short-term
Oh,
thing I
and
need
you're
you-
on a dark map!
The short-term thing I need you to be working on right now
3
is
successes to turn over a card.
Okay.
Can I do a long-term project of research?
Where the helm card?
on
That's
that?
what this is.
Oh.
That's essentially what these are. It's
Okay.
3 successes
How
over the
often-
course of several.
How often do we roll?
So,
just when you tell us?
Yes, as we go
Okay.
through the scene, I'll give you opportunities to do your research work, and you can accumulate successes and then decide, I want to know what this says. And these come with benefits, like researching some of these cards might give you clues to how to cure something, or what's actually going on with it.
Okay, I'm
Briefly,
gonna
it's
start.
after
On the
9
bright
o'clock, so
side.
it's time for another giveaway. Yay!
Let's do it!
Now
Folks
my
in both
termination.
chats, your trivia question is, what was the thing that Thox was trying to activate to collect the Hawking radiation? What specific part of the ship was Thox trying to turn on to do that? And failed miserably because I'm a dirty cheater.
Oh, can I give a hint?
No.
while they're like
Yes.
doing this,
'Cause you
I'm
knew
going
it
to
was gonna be
use
a your mama
the
joke?
ability that I have called Rally.
Okay.
Basically, I use a command task using control, reason, or presence. I'm going with presence. Basically, this is something against a task of difficulty 0. It's done specifically to generate momentum
Okay.
because we burned through a lot of our
You
momentum.
could use some now.
Yes, that's exactly why I'm doing it. So I'm montaging and giving orders, and let's see. So presence and command. All right, here we go. Oh, biggity bam! I got a 1. So one of those
This is
is
a crit.
one of those is a critical, and the other one is just a regular success.
All right, so you generate 3 momentum. All right.
Biggity
So
bam's a cake.
make an announcement. This is the captain speaking.
This is the captain speaking. All personnel, please be on extra vigilance to spot any sort of deviant or aggressive behavior. All personnel who begin to feel any sort of symptoms of this should report to sickbay immediately. Science and medical teams, we need to start working on quarantine and vaccination processes. We need to get this under control as soon as possible.
You hear the kaboom, boom of someone hammering on the bridge door from the turbo lift. But since you're under secure protocols, the bridge is currently locked down.
Correct.
And then you hear a creaking sound of bending metal, followed by wild phaser fire, and then a series of what sounds like someone putting a knife in your meat.
Oh God!
What are you doing?
Eating steak in the hallway?
Outside of the bridge.
This is coming from the turbo lift that goes to the bridge.
Listen,
I'm aiming my.
You're going to sick bay, I know.
I'm aiming my plasma pistol at the turbo lift
Right.
because I'm on the bridge.
Was I on the bridge?
You were on the bridge.
Yeah.
Bob left us out.
Bridge, sick bay, and you arrive in sick bay with the chief engineer in tow.
Yes.
Over your shoulder.
I'm
Okay.
researching antifungals.
So you're looking into antifungal medication when Ensign Yeager comes in with the chief engineer over his shoulder with a nasty, nasty phaser burn on her back.
Victim?
Yes.
That pile.
I think I'm going to be using my Captain Priority override on these phasers for bridge personnel only to come back on.
Okay.
Because you might have a batleth and you might have plasma pistols and I might have finger razors, but Ensign Nikki and Ensign Mickey, hey, I don't have any weapons.
Oh boy! I have phaser right now.
Oh, you know what they're here for.
So, well, Ensign Mickey has red shorts.
Yeah. Okay, so
Wait, this box is red.
you
Fetch
hear
me brown pants.
you hear the sound of the manual release being forced, and then
Okay, they'll be brown.
the door to the turbo lift is forced open.
Not JPEG.
And
Tumblr.com.
a Vulcan crew member comes barreling out, frothing at the mouth, screaming, his eyes rolled back. You probably can't even see anything. You can't see his pupils at all.
Gross.
And he's got a phaser in hand. It's completely useless right now, and he opens by just flinging it at. Let's ask the stream who he flings it at.
All right,
is he going to fling it at the captain? Is he going to fling it at the helmsman? Is he going to fling it at the science officer?
All right,
The suspense is
give us an answer,
Or one of the two red shirts.
Oh no.
No.
Oh no!
So, all right, the first answer was me.
Okay.
I do want to point out that thanks to Twitch chat, we canonically have a tardigrade grade duty officer somewhere on this ship who is probably going insane and killing people right now.
Listen, Ensign Tardy.
No, he's probably fine because he likes fungus.
Yeah, he's
It's probably eating him.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
He's probably the
Maybe we
only
should
one
come to
immune.
medbay.
We should get him actually.
Yeah.
Get Lieutenant Tardigrade in here immediately.
Ensign Ripper.
Medbay to Ensign Tardigrade.
All right, so you get hit right in the bumpy forehead. I got 3 successes.
Okay.
Great. Right in the bumpy forehead with a hurled phaser. So that does 6 damage.
All right.
Do we have our force fields?
Oh yeah, we have like that special rule.
Yeah, you do have your personal shield.
I mean, we weren't really deployed, but
Body armor.
Right, but this
I mean,
is
I feel
physical
like when
damage.
somebody started hitting the door, we would have been like,
Sure.
boop.
I think usually when when the ship goes on red alert.
Right, but remember, shields don't stop physical damage. That's why melee is effective against.
right,
It's true.
that's our rule.
Do.
Yes.
We have custom rules for the personal shields.
Yeah.
Phasers on stun.
Bang.
Open
Ow.
fire.
Take your shots. Plasma pistol.
Yep.
Let's see them rolls.
Remember, you set it to maximum, so
I totally did because I was expecting a lot sheet coming through the.
I'm using a phaser
so
too.
that's automatically going to generate threat because you are taking a lethal action.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, the green screen.
So you make things more dangerous.
Yes.
Which is cool.
There.
Yeah. So you already declared it's a lethal attack.
Yep.
And that is your control plus security.
Okay. What?
Ryan's off camera.
I'm on camera.
I'm off camera. Well, I guess Ryan is a little bit off camera.
Well, I'm probably gonna be more on camera once the the latency catches up.
All right. And the results are?
Not very good.
I'm using the phaser 2, control plus security.
All right, so
and I have a focus and hand phasers.
Zeros? That's good.
No, I got 0 successes.
Oh.
So you send several bolts of superheated plasma out toward the back of the bridge. The Vulcan ducks, scrambles, and comes leaping toward you, frothing at the mouth, as you basically destroy that back wall display, this giant ops display.
It really doesn't actually do anything. It's just
what's the rule for criticals if you have a focus?
If you...
Because I have a focus in hand phase.
Your discipline or less, it's a crit.
Your discipline or less. Ho, 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 ho.
Just FYI, if it's a lethal attack, you upgrade difficulty by 1.
Okay.
So, yeah, 3 successes.
Okay.
With a phaser 2.
All right. Are you set to stun? Kill?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, stun.
Stun. Heavy stun.
That was the order.
All right. So you blast the Vulcan. He takes the hit, shakes his head, and then turns and leaps at you.
Oh.
Whoa! Yeah. It's probably a mistake on his part.
Not the best choice.
Thanks for taking aggro, though.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, that's what.
So this becomes
what
an
tactical
opposed
officers
test because
do.
you're grappling against him now as he tries to lunge and grab you. This is control plus security.
Okay. Hey, I'm pretty good at that. I also have a focus in hand-to-hand combat.
Okay.
Because I used to be a security officer.
Or actually, for you, it's more like.
Oh, caca.
Oh God, really?
Yeah.
So this incredibly strong berserk Vulcan just slams into you and bowls you over.
That was a 20.
How about roll damage, Chris?
No, it was a.
So,
help me out.
Are you doing unarmed attack?
This is an unarmed attack.
Okay.
It's 1 die plus their.
I don't know. I did all my own. It's their security.
Right. Okay. Fortunately, this guy's security is not very high.
Yeah.
He's a scientist.
And then for the damage, you roll d6s.
Yep, I've got the d6s here, and it looks like I get 1, 2, 3, 4 damage and an effect, which is knocks you to the ground. So yeah, so he lunges, bowls you over, and is now trying to choke the life out of you.
I would like to tackle and restrain him, please.
Oh, what? No Mammoth?
No, he's no good. He's a friend, probably.
Use the backside
At
of the
least
battle.
someone I know. Well, he's a scientist. He's on my team.
Use the pommel.
So I'm going to German suplex him into a console, probably, but I'm not going to stab him.
All right, let's see that German suplex.
Those Klingon German suplexes.
Yeah. Well, you know, you've never seen pro wrestling unless you've seen it in the original Klingon.
Right.
Oh man.
Oh, thank God. 2 successes.
Okay.
That's a
So the idea is to, as he's on, like, to just like wrap around his arms
just
and like
yank him off
hold.
the captain and then
Yeah.
and he goes back into the helm console.
Yeah.
Smash.
Does it explode?
There's no main power.
So it starts.
All right, sparks everywhere.
The deadly thing is only if the weapon has the deadly quality.
Right.
So.
But the point is,
That
after the
plasma thing definitely does.
after said
it
German
doesn't.
suplex is to hold on to him and attempt to restrain him.
I guess it's an Andor.
I just have
Oh,
piercing.
is it? Okay. You just have piercing, right? Sorry, my bad.
Still we're learning.
All right. Meanwhile, in sickbay.
Yeah, I pierced that console.
Yeah. All right. So you've got a pile of unconscious people. You've got a pile of wounded people. You've got a badly wounded chief of engineer, which doesn't bode well for getting main power back online.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a frog person who's saying, "What's going on? What's going on?"
Wait, so she's under quarantine. How did her fungal friends get out?
That's an amazingly good question.
Plot.
You forgot to turn off the air conditioning.
Creature comforts, the downfall of us all.
Ensign Tardy didn't change the HEPA filters.
Fox stands up from suplexing the Vulcan.
Okay.
And you note, in addition to the sparks flying from the helm console being destroyed, you see that weird arcing blue lightning go firing across the command console, like on Kiona's main chair.
Okay.
Similar to the same phenomenon you saw with Ethan back when this all started.
I'm sorry, Tiff. I forgot your character's name.
Lyra.
Doctor.
Yeah. Dr. Lyra. Would it be possible to, with the power we currently have, to flood the sections of the ship that aren't the bridge or sickbay with some sort of anesthetizing gas?
Like anesthetine?
Yes, like anesthetine. Did you suggest that already?
It's certainly something we can do, but then it'll knock out everyone.
That may be a better option than what we're dealing with right now.
Well, we may need a lot of those people to repair the ship in a few minutes.
Yeah.
We'll all wake up in 3 days. Oh wait.
Oh.
I guess for the.
You're telling me this isn't like the Vengeance? We can't fly out with one person?
Automation systems are maybe not good, maybe not. We'll see. I don't know. Can you repair the main main energizer?
No.
I can't.
No one's playing an engineer.
I mean, I have.
So yes, you could do this. You could flood all of the ship with anesthetizing gas and just knock everybody out.
No.
I'm an average engineer.
It's not hard to get them back on their feet, but right now you don't know how to cure this problem. And of course, if everyone's unconscious, you have no way to fix the ship itself.
Right. And wouldn't the fungal infection just get worse while we're all asleep? I don't think that's a good idea.
Probably.
Yeah. So I want you to know that's not a good idea.
We've dealt with.
Fair enough.
I mean, Starfleet's dealt with the Alachi stuff before. Don't we have Don't we have a cure on file?
I'm researching.
You may recall the cure that was deployed in Star Trek Online was fire.
Okay.
I got that. I can make fire. I have a plasma weapon.
We can all make fire. We're on a death trap in
a
space.
more viable alternative than fire.
Do we
Well,
really
hold
have
on
a
though.
tardigrade
Okay,
on board?
if
You do.
Can
fire
I see
was
if the tardigrade will eat the fungus off people?
All right. So you call Lieutenant Tardigrade.
Wait, what?
it's canon. It's canon.
It's Ensign Ripper.
No, it's Lieutenant Tardigrade. It's been Lieutenant Tardigrade in chat for all this time.
Yeah.
We gotta give him
You
a
don't
real
get to
name.
name a character that our fans have been naming. It's Lieutenant Tardigrade.
All right. So you call Lieutenant Tardigrade, and you hear the woof, 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 and the Universal Translator kicks in.
What do you think of the fungal infection on these people? Is this something you?
Lieutenant Tardigrade says, "This is
He's a botanist.
This is some sort of mycelial subspace infarction. The Alachi infection normally isn't like this. The Alachi infection is a pretty standard fungal infection, but this one seems to have other characteristics that make it so that it's not the kind that we're used to seeing. You know, it's something different.
Fiddlesticks.
Could we use some kind of nanoprobes to kill the fungus?
If you just want to start researching these cards.
Yeah, make
That's what those three.
Can I
That's
do
what
it right
I made
now?
those three
You can make a
determinations
roll now.
for.
I'd like to assist with some science and try and determine, because if fire was the thing that destroyed them before, like, was it just the destruction of the fire, or is there something to do with like heat or breakdown of molecules?
In the past, it was literally in the Romulan story arc. They find a bunch of people who had been infected by Alachi spores, and they burned them.
Right.
To destroy.
But my question is, could you apply a similar technique scientifically to like break down the molecules of the fungi without harming the host?
If only there were some science cards.
Since I'm going to use science to help determine.
I seem to recall the U.S.S. Voyager having a similar problem with their gel
Remember,
pads.
we have at least three determinations
momentum.
from that previous.
Oh,
You're sitting on some momentum.
So I give you a success.
Okay.
That makes it 2.
Okay, so you start doing a little bit of research.
You can buy a dice with momentum and roll
So-
another one.
Technically, she could
Should
buy 2
I?
dice if
How
she
many
wants.
do we have?
You can buy up to 2.
I'll just buy 1.
Alright, so 1 momentum. And that's a natural 20.
Nothing happened.
Oh,
Do you want to buy another die?
It's not.
Don't
We need to
another
stop
20.
rolling those.
You are like looking at the slides,
And I
and
inhale it.
trying to figure out what's going on, and then you look and you see these strange, odd, white, hard to describe sort of like veins under your fingernails. You feel this bizarre itching sensation in your skin.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
You're
you have
in medbay.
kind of just enough time to realize. Oh,
Quarantine me,
things have
I'm
gone
infected.
very
You look at me!
So we're gonna do that. I guess I'm gonna try
I
something.
mean, there's quarantine fields, and then there's just
Yeah, because you got one success.
You turn off the force field.
You're
kick
looking
her
at
through,
like the
turn it back
smashed
on.
console you with the suplexed Vulcan knocked out next to it, and there's a bunch of bioneural gel oozing out, and it's got all of these little strands, like fungal strands to it, like the
I'm going to immediately take out my sample gathering kit and analyze the fuck out of this fungi.
Oh, you have a new card.
Should I roll for this?
That
Yeah.
you can choose to research.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do in sickbay is I'm going to sequester the doctor.
Okay.
And then I'm going to grab a hypo spray before I lock her behind a force field. And I'm going to draw some of my blood.
Yep.
And I'm going to inject it into the doctor.
All right, come on.
Ooh.
Oh, here we go.
Or she's A positive and you're B negative.
You're being awful negative, Ryan.
I know.
He set you up for that.
You see one movie and now it's going to be used in every...
He's type A
canon
for
now.
augment.
Yeah.
I put on the classical hit sabotage.
O negative, universal donor.
Yeah.
All right.
That's fine.
So you give the doctor a special hit of the super aggressive immune system.
Yeah.
Wait, as a Trill, aren't I more?
Are you a joined trill?
No.
You're an unjoined trail.
Jesse,
So you're basically
I got 2
a
successes.
human
Combined with the 1 success I got
dots.
helping her, may I flip this card?
You may flip that card.
I will flip this card then.
Dun, dun, dun.
So you had successes from your last one, didn't you? Keep track of those. So you have 2 from that last one.
So I have 2 and I need
Okay.
one more for a card.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
have one for a card.
It's like, this is interesting, but maybe not useful.
Captain, I don't know how useful this is to us, but the wait, hold on. I'm trying to figure out how to just not. I'm just gonna read the card.
Process.
The odd discharges of electricity and EPS disruptions around the ship seem related to Fibonacci patterns, like those seen in natural growth of plants and fungi. Data on mycelial subspace networks is limited, but suggests that it's possible for such networks to transport data or energy over long distances. It's like a mushroom looking for food around it, sending out tendrils to gather nutrients, and burrowing into a useful source of energy. A theory, Captain. Perhaps this spire is draining energy from the ship through such a mycelial network.
Get Lieutenant Tardigrade on the bridge stat.
He bursts through the wall, Kool-Aid Man style.
He just actually just spore drive jumps onto the bridge.
Sure.
Does the needle look like it's Pavin by nature?
No. It's not crystal.
Okay.
All right.
Keep at it.
So,
Keep researching.
I will work with Lieutenant Tardigrade to study this structure and see
So,
what
Doctor, you are having these terrible hallucinations, horrible stress dreams of things from your past, things that you regret, things that you're
previously
afraid
joined
of.
Symbiont.
No.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you see when you look at Ethan from the other side of the security field?
He-Man. Your hair is terrible.
Oh, that really
Fabulous
bad
secret powers
80s feather
revealed to me.
bowl cut.
And your glowing red eyes and your sharp fangs. You want to eat me. Stay away.
wait, what?
Well,
Ethan's like, man, this is how they treated me on Earth.
Yeah. It's like being a Starfleet Academy.
You do not have the power of Grayskull.
I don't know what that means, but
Man, that was a lot of hosts ago to get to that reference.
I got a tricorder. Is my red juice working?
It's going to take time.
Okay.
Red juice. So your antibodies are super aggressive, and of course you're completely immune to this fungal infection.
Right.
But your antibodies are going to have, you've only sent a tiny fragment of your soldiers.
It's a hypo spray. It's got plot amount of blood in it.
Yes. So you've sent a tiny fragment of your soldiers to go and cleanse the doctor's body.
My
And
God,
also
that sounds
she's-
wrong.
She's a trill, not a human.
Sure.
So it's going to take a little bit of time.
Hallucinating
Listen,
excitedly.
it works on a triple. We're good.
And I break down crying. I didn't mean to kill you.
Your blood type is O negative. Her blood type is G positive.
Maple frosted donuts are the best.
Anyone remember Spock's blood type? There's a good trivia question.
Oh, okay.
Trivia
Sure, we'll
question.
do a trivia question. Does anyone know Spock's blood type?
Green?
Well,
Actually showed up in the original series.
Really? They
He had to
actually-
give a blood transfusion to his father.
that's right.
I mean, he's half human.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would like to work with Lieutenant Tardigrade to science the shit out of this.
So Lieutenant Tardigrade comes barreling onto the bridge.
Yep.
All right. Lieutenant Tardigrade will assist your sciencing. Give you 1 success.
All right.
Science harder, not smarter.
Man. Okay. Well, I got. Does a 1 give me any more successes
That's
than
a
just regular
critical
crit?
success, so that's
This is just 2. Okay.
successes.
All right. So I got 2 successes with his 1 that gives me 3 total.
Okay. So you can flip one of those cards, which is not super useful right now because those are about different areas around the vortex. But who knows? Maybe they'll give you something.
He flipped the card.
I did.
Okay. So you wanted to learn more about the needle.
I did. Oh wait, were you going to give me different information if I didn't flip a card?
No, that's fine.
No.
It's too late.
But the answer
Oh shit!
is yes.
This is all stuff I knew.
Not
Damn.
entirely. So this confirms a couple of interesting things. Its structural integrity fields are what are keeping that thing together. So it's got plot
What you
immunity.
told us earlier.
That neutronium outer surface to the hull is something that's beyond the tech level that you guys have available. It's similar to the
Aggressively crystallized trilithium hull.
Right, which means that it is in the same way that dilithium extends into other dimensions, orthogonal to the 3 dimensions that we experience, which is what makes it different from conventional lithium and therefore useful for warp regulation. Trilithium has extra spatial characteristics, so that provides it with the ability to be much more structurally sound. But that just provides the framework over which this tiny thin layer of neutronium paste has been placed. You're able to hypothesize a couple of other things as well. Due to the immense tidal forces, the passage of time is different inside of the needle. It's entirely possible that things could be in there for which time doesn't seem to pass outside at all. The needle also might extend through the aperture into wherever the other side of the black hole exits.
It's also bigger than we previously
The Black Mirror universe.
Because it's 20 AU, not 20 kilometers, which
Oh,
is a
yeah.
pretty
That's pretty different.
Oh, sorry.
different distance.
that is
I don't know.
somewhat different.
Is it 100 AU from Earth or 100 light years?
No, don't go there. No.
I think I missed a reference.
Listen, we use miles here, not Australian units.
America.
By the way, do you actually know what Spock's blood type is? Because
Well, so I have gotten answers that sound right, but I would definitely want someone to tell me what the actual answer is. Jesse, what is the actual answer?
Can you text it to him?
So someone may want to look it up just to confirm it, but I believe that the answer is T negative.
That is what I got a lot of T positives and then a bunch of T negatives, and I think so. But I got T negatives on both answers, on both sides. So I think T negative is most likely the correct
Let's verify that. From,
Yes, indeed.
The
Google,
episode,
please.
Journey to Babel.
Okay, Google. Oh crap, there's nothing in here.
And while you're doing
Alexa.
that,
Yeah,
we'll
computer.
consider what
Tell
you
me a
draw.
joke.
So
Okay.
I'll make sure I update the captain. It's getting a little rough down here in sick bay. We just lost.
It's a little rough everywhere.
T negative.
T negative. All right, so we've got 2 winners then: Joshua Johnson and Armed Scooter.
That sounds like a lot
Armored
of work.
tardigrade.
Armored Scooter. You're right.
Ah.
Okay, so you got a call from your tactical guy.
Yeah.
Situation update.
The chief engineer has been critically wounded, and Dr. Jennings has succumbed to.
You forget me!
Yeah, I hear that in the background. You'll never get me, Spider Queen!
Please instruct the current acting chief medical officer to continue the doctor's work in hopes of finding both a antidote and a vaccination for this Ilachi situation that we're dealing with.
That's Nurse Becky.
Ensign Dylan Kennedy.
Hello.
No, Ensign Dylan Kennedy.
Oh,
That's
okay.
a real person.
All right.
The real names we came up with in the first session.
Right.
Right.
Backup characters.
Yes.
Medical human
Way
person.
back in the
dude,
day.
with 11 stresses. I don't
Okay.
know what that means.
So,
Hit points.
Oh, I see.
there's sort of a lull fighting is going on in various decks, but the bridge seems to be secure for now. You get a security field up in front of the turbo lift so that nobody can crawl out of the Jeffries tube into the turbo lift shaft and then to the bridge.
And we set the field on fire, so that way if they do try to crawl through, at least it'll burn up the Alachi.
And then.
No, we don't.
So Ensign Kennedy would like to pick up the last bit of research.
Pick up where the doctor left off, huh? Okay, I guess Ensign Kennedy needs to make a roll.
What was it again?
I'm going to assist on that since I just gave directions.
Medicine?
All right,
Is it medicine or science?
Reason and
this
medicine?
is medicine.
Okay.
They're trying to figure out how these Alachi spores work
so
and what you
bad
can do
one
about
and
that.
then good one.
One success. That makes 3. She has 1, so that's 3 successes.
Okay, so working off of the previously established medical data.
Choose fails.
Okay,
like
so
that's choice.
you're calling down to sick bay to try and give the doctor some direction,
God damn it.
and all you get is static. And that's not a good sign. Like, this is not you failed because you didn't know the medical stuff. This is something that has gone wrong, even worse.
Something is rotten in the state of Denmark.
And
Ensign Kennedy
you
shows you
cannot
these
get a hold of
results.
sick bay.
Okay.
Now that's with ship, internal ship communication.
Internal communication, that's correct.
What about
Hopefully no one's that far along.
Combadge is generally piped through the ship's computer.
do we have a way to bypass that? Like, say, if I was on a planet and I use my comm badge. Basically, I'm switching off. I'm going off Wi-Fi and using cellular.
It typically goes through the cellular network. However, your science officer might be able to bypass that.
I was going to say I could perhaps, let's see, some good technobabble. Reroute the signal through the secondary communications via the dilithium reactor. Yeah, let's just try that.
Great.
Wonderful. Yeah.
I don't know why the dilithium reactor has
We
secondary
need to
communications
restore.
now, but we'll roll with that.
We need to restore communications from the bridge ASAP.
That would be 2 successes.
All right, so you managed to get a little bit of a patch through, and you get your station to set up with your damage control display, so you can see what the heck is going on around the rest of the ship.
Captain!
Indiscriminate phaser fire has damaged many ship subsystems. The engineering teams are going to have their hands full keeping the ship intact
and not falling into
a hypermass. The other bad news. The damage control teams are not able to get to the starboard nacelle because they're engaged in a heavy firefight and seem to be losing. Someone's going to have to go there.
I was going to say, we're going to need to do a spacewalk.
Someone's going to have to go to the starboard nacelle and fix it.
Okay, so I'm just going to point this out. My engineering is terrible.
Well, we also have...
use the combat. They can do the engineering.
Guys, so we also have access to secondary characters that one of them is good at engineering.
That's true,
and
but she's unconscious.
No, we have secondary characters. Like Thomas has another engineer that he plays.
Yeah, Ensign Kennedy's my secondary character.
Okay, I forgot who my secondary character was.
I don't think I ever made a secondary.
We all did.
You just create them ad hoc.
Just make one.
Right.
Alright, so
Jesse,
Tom,
I sent you a secret message.
Do we have comms?
No, on just text.
Okay.
Did we get comms back or not?
Yes, you have comms.
Bridge to tactical.
Yes, Captain.
We seem to have a problem with the starboard nacelle, specifically our engineering damage control teams can't get there to fix it because they're being shot at. We need to get an engineer to that nacelle intact. It's going to probably require a little EVA, if you know what I mean. I don't want you suit up and escort the engineer so they can begin their work and, find out who's shooting at our teams. Probably our own people, but we never know here.
All right. Do we have a room where we can stock up on that stuff? I need to go to the C-store and get an EVA suit.
Yeah, you need to get, an EVA suit. They're everywhere.
You don't have one in your inventory? I have 12 in my inventory.
Why? Get rid of them!
I
don't ever throw anything out.
Okay. You see that glowing crate over there?
Yeah.
Just go
Sparkling.
We realized it would be important for this mission. You might not have one, so...
Right.
All right, so
make sure you click on it so you turn it on.
You get a Confederation EV suit out of one of the little survival pods that's inside.
Also,
you didn't even spend the low-buy on a Wrath of Khan one? I mean...
Listen, I'm trying to get the Solanae one, but I need more low-buy.
Okay, look, you have to activate your suit before you can go through the door.
I also want to stop by the armory and get kitted out.
Ah.
Curling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Phaser rifle.
Phaser rifle.
Phaser rifle.
But it's the cool one that Worf had that's all rounded that we haven't put in the game yet.
Ah. Okay. So did we just confirm that's good? No.
I wanted to.
Oh, you just got people's hopes up.
I mean, you just said yet.
I want my hopes up.
Yeah. Someone just has to model it, right?
Yeah. I'm sure Ian has nothing to do.
We just need to get a character artist in this game.
I saw him leave like on time instead of staying late.
Well, as if you read the forums, all of us should not be doing this. We should be fixing bugs.
Yeah, Mike specifically
Me
should be
in
fixing
particular.
bugs.
Yeah. Anytime I do a stream.
Let's not work shame anyone except for Mike.
Yeah, it's true. It's perfectly fine.
Actually, to be perfectly honest, there's been a couple of times where you guys are here super late and I'm done with everything and I leave at like 6:30 and I'm just like, I'm the worst, I'm the worst, I'm the worst, I'm the worst.
Well, next time
During
you can grab
Victory's Life,
some
I came
pom-poms
back
and
with
just be like-
snacks because I felt so bad.
But Mike, we really want all of our blogs to be in the game.
I'm working on it. It takes a while.
Okay, so you've got your comms back up for now.
Sucks.
You can tell that there's indiscriminate damage all over the ship from indiscriminate phaser fire, but there also seems to be other system damage that's the result of these electrical discharges that have been happening through these mycelial microfractures.
Only in Starfleet is everything
I would like to so the EPS conduits, because main power is down, are currently basically not being used for much.
Correct.
And so I would like to set up a rerouting system using the engineering staff and some science-y that I'm doing real quick to reroute any further electrical discharges to harmlessly discharge out the deflector.
Okay, get started.
All right.
This sounds like an engineering-y thing, though.
So I am going to use science to make the calculations.
Okay.
And then if you would like to roll for the engineers who help me, I would take that.
We're going to get Crewman Johnson.
Yeah. It's 2 successes for
Is that the rules for making a block character?
Crewman Johnson gets 1.
No.
All right, so I am going to... Now, if I flip one of these, does that take away
So it takes 3 science successes to be able to flip one of those cards.
But does that mean I don't do the EPS
It means you're not doing the EPS
Then I will do
thing.
the
So
EPS
you have to be doing research to
Understood.
flip those
EPS
cards.
thing is happening.
And those are obviously less important right now.
Yes.
They're interesting, but not like threatening.
Yeah.
Maybe.
What does that mean?
John Miner wants to know why we didn't just route communications through one of the shuttles on board, because... Shut up, that's why.
I thought you would just use one of the tricorders as a secondary process.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
You know, that's why I'm the DM.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's because our team's not good at science.
Okay.
So I got my
engineering.
So get your EV suit on.
Yeah.
And then what just happened?
Lieutenant Tardigrade does
Oh,
science.
it's so good.
We have to make that now.
Do you want to take Lieutenant Tardigrade with you?
Yeah, he can survive in space, right?
Yeah.
He's gonna science the shit out of this.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've already made that.
All right. So, riding your pet tardigrade.
Yeah, can I ride him? Like,
don't see why not.
Why don't you do some work?
He's cool with it.
Yeah. You activate your EV suit.
Yeah.
Exit.
My lights turn on.
Yeah. And
then we got which engineer is with us?
is it someone secondary or?
I might have had a secondary engineer.
Be you.
Okay.
Yeah, build a
All right.
secondary.
Your secondary engineer is.
If you want to be quick, just take your pilot number and put it into engineering.
Okay. Ensign Stevens.
All right.
There you go.
Durwood?
What race are they?
Stevens.
Huh?
What race are they?
Probably human, because
It's
it's
Stevens, the Medusa.
It's
Delton.
Delton. Okay.
Evelyn Stevens.
No.
Jem Hadar.
Jim Hader.
Best part about this
James
is like
T. Hader.
Starfleet is kind of like the Green Lantern Corps.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Ensign Tardigrade is running around in a uniform.
Yes.
Yep.
Or just that Troy
Oh
onesie.
man, our fans are too good to us. There's an engineer named Lieutenant Gibson who was the secondary from the first episode. If we'd like to use them,
I think that was Thomas.
that's
That's,
character.
that's Thomas.
So, okay.
No, it's the Delton Ensign Stevens.
Okay.
Okay.
So.
Stevens.
With an apostrophe because
Yeah.
she's an alien.
Stevens.
Yeah. All right, Captain. Any other directions or actions you would like to take?
Yeah, I think that I'm going to do that rally again because we need more momentum.
She also wants to know what to do next.
Yeah.
That's your standing order right there.
Yeah, your standing order. Keep research.
Every time you get a chance to do that, do that.
Can she roll again? No, we're good.
Oh, can you take the...
Okay, one success. So we have another
So that's one more momentum.
Okay.
All right.
You gotta put those chips in there, son.
Well, momentum. Give me the momentum.
Oh, sorry.
Are you sleeping on the job?
I was apparently. What? So we're getting how much more momentums?
You got one momentum.
Okay.
And we added the 3 that I put in there earlier, yeah?
Well, we spent one of the 3 that you put in there earlier.
So
I spent one.
Still have 2, so I should have 3.
We're at 3.
3 in the pile.
All right. We have 3 momentums. So,
make the magic happen.
Our augmented space explorer needs to make his roll of control plus. What's EV suits operation anyway? I'm sure that's a specialty of something.
Science?
Wearing an EV
Well, I mean, I'm just walking outside, right?
Dairy?
No.
No, you have to click on the posts.
Yeah, we turn on the post so we can walk on the surface.
So, okay.
Get good, dude.
You exit an airlock near sickbay, which is in one of the lower. You're in the secondary hall area.
So Boulevard's saying that
and you have to get.
Is it con?
That's what he says.
In the command rulebook, apparently, EV suits is com, yeah.
All right, great.
Okay.
So you have to get from that secondary hall up onto one of the pylons.
Can Ensign Tardigrade just take us there?
Well, he could try to walk along the outer hall, or he could try and fly there using your best.
He doesn't need to do either. We can point to point this stuff.
So
wait, are we okay? Here's a. Are we saying he can jump like a regular tardigrade?
He doesn't have nipple clamps.
Ah, okay. So
that technology is lost.
Wow.
It was lost in the eugenics wars. Is that what they were called?
Let's just keep moving on.
All right. So okay.
It was lost in the we can't talk about.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Tardigrade's grandfather had brought up a extremely interesting ethical case against nipple clamps, and it went through.
All right.
Basically,
we will make our way.
Do not draw this.
It has never appeared in TOS, TNG, Voyager, anything like that. We don't know why any more than you do, but that technology apparently no longer is around in the 25th century.
All right. So I will lead my team of space adventurers.
All right.
The technology is tardigrade.
I'll tell everyone, keep your eyes on the hull. It'll keep you from getting disoriented.
Mm-hmm. Good advice for Mr. Worf.
Yep. All right, it's not a 20.
That's good.
It's new for you.
Yep. All right.
So am I a buff in a EV suit?
Yes.
Okay.
You said it was
Buffalo the Cloud.
Command or no control plus
con.
Yeah, con.
So that's the six.
Wasn't there a boss in Back to the Future?
Okay. So you leap off of the hull after attaching a guy line so you don't float off into a black hole. And fire off your reaction thrusters, everyone in a long line. And for those who've seen it, it's sort of like 2010 Odyssey 2 when they're doing their spacewalk. Yeah. You know,
that's a good callback.
Flying their way out into space.
So is an evil robot going to detach his cable any minute? Isn't that 2001? Never mind.
No, we already.
It might have been 2010.
We already fought the Facebook robots.
Yes, that was a while ago.
That was the worst.
So, yeah, you're making your way out, and you see a part of the hull that had been blown out by phaser fire, and it's got a security field up against it. And someone is like pounding on the security field, just making mad, frenetic noises and gestures and sounds, and then they snatch up a phaser and start firing it at the security field, deflecting off of it repeatedly.
Would do that.
Trying to shoot you. And you look to your left, and you can see off in the distance this accretion disk, and the enormous death knell of the universe. You look up to your right, and there's the asteroid that you guys were in orbit around.
How's our radiation levels?
Not great.
Hopefully you picked up some anti-rad meds from...
Well, Lieutenant Tardigrade is fine.
Yeah. Well, we stocked up on Radaway.
All right. Nice. Bottle caps, please. royalties. The all right, so
You're a game developer, you don't get royalties.
I helped make that game. So you're in space. Meanwhile, in the bridge. What are you up to? What are you up to? Helm's regular person.
Oh, okay.
The bridge is secure right now.
Right.
Nobody can get in because you've got security fields. You know that there's problems all over the ship. You've sent your augmented person and Lieutenant Tardigrade to deal with the warp engine so that it doesn't blow up.
And Lieutenant Stevens?
Yeah.
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 Or Ensign
Ensign Evans is with you as well.
Yeah.
But what else would you like to try and do? The situation is pretty grim.
Yeah.
You have any great ideas?
You know, before all this shit went down, we were talking about threading the needle. I'm going to try and get a shuttle prepped just in case.
Just in case. All right. So, signaling the launch bay. Actually, even better, prep Aero Shuttle. Because it's just attached to the underside of the saucer section. You can just go straight down, climb the ladder from the bridge straight into the Aero Shuttle.
Perfect.
Only 10 levels down.
Yeah.
You'll be fine. You're
in shape.
Strong Romulan lady.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to start on the calculations to get him safely through the vortex, which means sciencing the vortex, probably.
Yes, it does.
Oh no.
That is 3 successes.
Okay.
I will science the vortex.
Man, those dice are so bad at D&D, but they're really good at this.
Yeah.
Dude, I've been rolling this. I'm like, where are these rolls when I'm playing D&D? I could be using all these natural 20s.
You should use those dice during...
Well, no, so when I do that, though, it'll be ones and everything.
Jesse, do all of these contain information you've already given us?
All of them contain some information that you've already gotten.
Okay.
But, fear not. Since you're specifically looking for how can I plot a course that he can actually make it through the vortex?
Yes, using warp bubbles and shit.
Right. First off, you know that you can't do it at right angles, or it's going to go
horribly wrong.
Yeah. Well, it's going to go through the undertow, as they call it, and you don't know what that will mean yet because you haven't flipped that card. So it must be approached at an oblique angle. It must be done in a way that's not going to hit the spire. You know that the vortex is going to generate these massive gravitational flux, but it has an unusual amount of gravity coming out of the direction of the wave stream. So your best approach is from the opposite direction, where it has a more standard sort of circular profile.
Okay.
The other problem is once you hit warp and you pass through it, you're essentially insulated from the space around it. There's not really a good, easy way to sort of reach out and touch anything that's inside of the vortex, short of finding some way to evaporate the event horizon or something like that.
What if we ran around it in the opposite direction really fast?
This is not Superman.
That's a different game.
That's D&D.
But there is actually, you think there may be a way to do that is contained within some of those other research cards.
Okay.
Looks like I came prepared for this.
Do more science!
All right, but we'll get to that in a second. All right. And remember as well that you can contribute, if you're not doing other things, you can contribute by rolling your own science tests. You may not be as good at it, but you can still accumulate successes for these things. Or medical tests, for that matter.
Oh.
I'm thinking this one next, you know.
I'm terrible at that, actually.
How to cure the thing?
Well, we did the antifungals, and we discovered that we basically need the spores to enter an active state, poison them, and then they'll die. But if a patient's already very badly infected, they'll just die too.
Right.
You know, minor detail.
Okay, but you have flipped that card now?
Yeah.
Okay, so who actually finished that research? Oh, your nurse did, right?
Yeah, Kennedy, yeah.
Okay, so Kennedy has finished making an antifungal. So you have an inoculant that you can apply to people. If they are heavily enough infected that you see mushrooms growing out of them, they will just fall over dead and all the mushrooms will die. If they are not that heavily infected, it will cure them.
Okay.
Start.
I
You
feel
don't
like
currently have mushrooms growing out.
I was like, I feel like I know where you are inspired by this
now. you should probably start with Dr.
Yeah.
Maybe sort
She
of.
starts with Dr. Leroy.
Okay. So Dr. Lira gets the first inoculant.
Get away from me, devil monster.
Right.
When can we make our next science
Don't
thing?
poison me, bro.
You've been
shrooms
sitting on your hands or paws.
Yeah.
So
All right.
conduct some auxiliary science.
Okay, I'm actually not terrible at that with medicine. I have a focus in emergency medicine, which I don't know if that applies here.
Almost certainly applies here.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, because
Fabulous.
this is an emergent trauma situation with people who are being thrown into cataleptic states, hallucinations, massive fever,
and what
probably internal hemorrhaging and other problems.
And what do these do again?
Determination?
Yeah.
You spend a determination for something that your value is appropriate for. You get an automatic crit added to your.
All right. Well, I have a is it a value? All right.
Yes.
My value is going to be where there's a will, there's a way.
There you go.
Okay.
So, bam, that gets spent. So there's a critical right there.
That's
two successes.
All right, and then we're gonna do the medical roll. So I have a medicine. What is it? Medicine and
reason.
Medicine and reason. Oh,
not your forte.
Well, it could be worse, but yeah, don't.
Could be on fire.
Don't have me do anything involving engineering. It's not going to go well. All
I love
right.
how none of our bridge crew are any good at engineering.
Oh, it's Thomas.
I have a 3.
Wow, I actually got 2 successes on that.
So
Plus the
total
critical.
4.
Because I had a reason in medicine of 10, and I got a 6 and a 4.
As long as
So you can flip a card of your
As long as
choice
I don't
and
stand
you
up
bank a
to
momentum.
my boards and use my presence.
I didn't get
Like
any
any of
critical on
these.
my dice.
Okay.
That's fine because that's 2, and then you get 2 from the automatic crit for a total of 4.
Right.
It's 3 to flip a card, and you bank a momentum.
Okay.
Or is it like those two count as well?
Those are science. This is medical. So you guys are obviously more interested in the medical right now.
Oh,
So space spores, waste stream waste, or hallucination spores.
My worst
we
roll
need to get this
is
not
presence
nipped in the
medicine.
bud because people will keep shooting at us.
People will die.
So, having figured out what's going on with the hallucination spores, so you still don't know the vector by which they're getting into people. They should not have been able to get through your quarantine field. And maybe if you'd done that other research, you would have figured that one out. But wah wah. But you now understand not only how to destroy them, but you understand the nature of the hallucinogenic effects that these things are having. Basically, it's a combination of having an extreme fever that's giving you delusions and psychoactive content going on in your brain. What just happened?
Now they're nickel clamps.
Oh.
That's better.
That's awesome.
That's better.
We need to start. Yeah. Well, let's
Did I
see.
get us in trouble inadvertently?
No.
All right.
All right.
Can I say we give that person a prize of something really awesome, like?
Well, we are having a fan art contest over the course of the night. I
As
haven't
the
seen.
doctor,
And so far, he's the only one who submitted it.
Yeah, I mean, I did tell them to
Well, they
submit
have
to the
3
email
hours.
address. so I
as
don't
the
know about
doctor's
anything
fever
else.
starts to come down, and the combination of your inoculant plus magic blood has its effect, with the assistance of the captain saying, "Hey, I've been looking up some research on psilocybin and these other sorts of hallucinogens on various humanoid species, and I had some thoughts. You think that you can aerosolize a prion that will essentially pull this stuff out of people's receptors?
Yeah.
So you can aerosolize something that will cause people to snap out
So
of their
kind of like
receptors.
anesthetine gas, but prion
They'll
gas.
stop hallucinating.
Yeah.
They'll still be really sick until they get inoculant.
But at least
cured.
it'll stop the.
It'll stop all the fighting. Yes.
Let's make that happen.
That's awesome.
I barf gently into a trash can and start working.
All right. So you vomit up your mushrooms.
We need to work on that next.
Yeah, I think so.
So you vomit into that, and then
So I'm going to start
All right,
researching
computer.
these spores.
aerosolize this and release.
Do I need to
All right.
roll for that? Because I have medical technology as a focus.
Getting the research done was the necessary
Oh, okay,
step.
okay,
So you're
okay,
good to go. So
Good job,
doctor-
Captain.
All right, doctor gets saved. Ethan, you enter the starboard nacelle through a hole in the side, so that's great.
No
My bad.
field.
No force field.
Okay.
My bad.
So we're going to talk about that on your next review.
You have your next one on.
Well, I'm going to be sick that day, and the day after.
Someone's getting demoted from EXO, or acting EXO.
So you enter through a hole in the starboard nacelle, and up in front where the Bussard collector is, you see this chunk. It's about 2 meters by 3 meters, roughly rectangular, of some sort of alien metal that's embedded in the collector.
Okay.
There's this bluish lightning playing all around it. You can see there's these streams of sort of bizarre electricity. It looks weird, like the stuff you saw on your console way back at the beginning of all of this.
Sir, I can tell you with absolute certainty, that's not supposed to be there.
Thank you. Okay, you said how big is it?
It's about 2 meters by 3 meters. It's made out of an as yet unknown material.
Okay.
You have tricorders.
Yeah, we'll scan it.
Touch it, touch it, touch it.
Yeah, make a scan.
See what you got.
So that'd be engineering. What? Insight?
Engineering reason. Insight is knowledge of people. Reason is knowledge of things that are rational, unlike people.
These people aren't reasonable.
Got 3 successes, because presumably she would have or he or it, the Delton would have a focus in something.
I don't think ensigns have focuses, because mine doesn't have any.
Well, you didn't write them down.
What?
The character creation has you make a whole bunch of focuses as you're doing.
Foci.
The secondary characters they have.
I thought they just have less stuff.
Yeah. They have that too.
They have less, but they still have some.
Yeah.
All right. So Ensign Steve Ons does some scanning.
Yeah.
You determine that this hull is some sort of modified duranium composite. It's not too dissimilar from the kind of technology that Starfleet uses for its starship hulls, but it's clearly not local to this area. Some other species, and it's very, very old. It's one of those ancient chunks that was dragged down here for over the course of thousands of years. So some sort of spacefaring culture that predated human exploration of space. Something horrible happened to one of their vessels, and now this piece of material has found itself shoved into your starboard Bussard collector. It's highly energized. It is generating an electrical current because there seems to be some sort of subspace field that is orthogonal to it, which means that just like when you have an orthogonal magnetic field, you generate a current through a conduit, same sort of thing. It's generating a huge amount of electricity. Most of that's being funneled off into the warp coil right now, so that's great.
Well, we should put the ship orthogonal to the...
Let's just rotate the ship.
Yeah, and the ship will start generating power.
Right.
Well, we should probably...
turn into a giant Tesla coil.
Fix this part first before turning it on, because then it will blow up.
That's a great idea. How do you want to proceed?
Well, first we should get this piece of metal out of here.
Right.
And and then we should
do the engineering.
And then I get to work.
Can we reverse the polarity of the Bussard collector?
Not in its current state of destruction.
My bad. Could we try to turn a bit of the nacelle so it's no longer orthogonal, and thus the metal will de-energize?
Oh,
well.
Can we activate the nacelle to move?
If you haven't been following on the forums, those are broken.
Damn, son!
Could the main ship use its using auxiliary power?
There is no clown like a self-clown.
Have the tractor beam pull the broken nacelle out of orthogonality.
You could use a tractor beam on a shuttle or something like that.
If only there was someone who was going to be on a shuttle in a short amount of time.
Right, so you could launch the Arrow shuttle and use its tractor beam to pull the piece out, which is probably a better idea than having Captain America pull it out by hand.
Yeah. Let's not do that.
You know what? Because this involves me saying something to my other character, let's go with that one.
Okay.
Now quick, have a conversation with yourself.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, that's investor role-play number 2.
All right, so Meanwhile, Romulan goes skidding down the ladder and jumps into the aero shuttle cockpit like you're jumping into one of the lions in Voltron.
Yes!
And I'll form the head.
You got the touch.
You
got the power.
No, that's my other character who has the touch.
Yeah. No, he's touched.
You launch the aero shuttle, and following Ethan's directions, you pull it up alongside Pathfinder, and then lock its tiny tractor beam onto this small piece of duranium hull composite and yank it out. There's a tremendous flash of sparks. And it's strange blue lightning that you've been seeing all over the place going off all around the nacelle again, and then the Pathfinder is gone.
What?
You're fired.
And I think that's a good break point.
What? This is your way of making sure I organize another one of these before the next 6 months, isn't it?
So what you're saying is,
I feel fine.
Tell Mirai wins because she's the only one left.
Thomas, if you're still watching, this is what happens when you leave.
I didn't do it.
So the next game is just going to be Thomas and me trying to save everyone else?
At least at the beginning.
We'll find out.
We'll have to get Eric to show up.
We've been trying.
Okay, so
You guys screwed this up, and Sally Ryan has to show up and save you.
I actually tried to get Elisa to record us some messages to Lon tonight, but then I was like, I asked her like 4 hours before we went out. I'm like, of course she's not going to have time.
I'm looking forward to the video of the shuttle tractor beaming the nacelle and then the ship just disappearing.
Don't we have
So who's going to text Tom? Oh, actually,
we do have a bunch of prizes to give out.
Oh, we do. We have the final prize to give out. I think we'll hold on to the rest of the main books, but let's see what fan art submissions we got, and we'll as a team look through them real quick.
Wow.
You can keep any cards that you flipped over, incidentally.
do you want to hold on to this one? Or
And
Give him to Chris.
no wait, I have it.
What? Here's the needle. Here's the vortex.
I'm just going to text.
No, I mean I can hold on.
I'm just going to text Thomas the words "the ship is gone." No context, and I won't answer any questions.
Is he not in Facebook chat?
No, I don't think he's there anymore.
I mean, the video will be on.
Yeah, I'm sure
there'll be a VOD. He'll probably watch it tomorrow.
So there's good news.
So you two are in space. No, you're
the good news is Talon survived.
I think I'm the only one in space. Like my main character is the only one in space. Everyone else is gone.
I thought you were in space.
The good news
No, because they were all in the nacelle.
We're in the nacelle.
All right, folks, everyone gather up around this monitor real quick, and we will judge some fan art.
All right. Let's see what they
I
got
thought for a
us.
second you said you were going to jettison fan art, and I was like, that's kind of fun. Dubstep some fan art?
Yeah.
Got some weird sci-fi going on this time.
Okay, so here's our first thing.
What?
That's
Come over. You'll see it from over here.
Okay.
Get closer.
There.
oh, okay. That's really good. I like that.
Yeah. All right,
Where?
right here. Okay. All right. There's another one.
Okay.
Okay.
I need to get
Alright.
it here.
And I really like this one.
Oh yeah.
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 Okay. All right. Duncan wins. Congratulations.
My favorite one is the nickel plant.
So Duncan and I have your email. So I will get you that code.
I was amazed that we got the Cell Gemmy like that.
Thomas is in Twitch chat now. He moved.
Oh.
He says he'll be on Ariza and sits straight up in his chair and go, my ship is in danger.
So
Well, it's not so much in danger as
my
it's...
art doesn't. Where's the camera for this?
This side.
Facing
This
us.
side. You were pointing it up.
My art doesn't obviously qualify. So
I hold on. I can't see it, so it'll pop up on stream, but then I can react. Waiting for it. That's great.
What?
But
What?
it's not so much that your ship is in danger as much as your ship isn't in the current universe.
It's okay.
We don't know that.
Danger could be the other universe.
It's
So,
fine. We've
folks,
all come to a
and
bad
I love it,
place.
and we finished and everyone immediately jumped up out of their chairs, but I just want to say thank you very much for everyone who tuned in for this whole time. We appreciate you guys joining us. We're glad you're enjoying these streams. We'll try to do them more often. Hopefully everyone's schedules will be a little less nutso. and they can get me more fiction blocks.
Thank you
more
everyone
fiction
for
blocks.
another wacky science fiction adventure.
Woo!
Hope you had a pretty good time, and we will see when we get to
See you soon. I'm going to end us on ZEF. So if you're enjoying the Z streams, we'll try to do them more often. Hopefully everyone's schedules will be a little less nutso, and they can get me more fiction blocks.
Thank you
more
everyone
fiction
for
blocks.
another wacky science fiction adventure.
Woo!
Hope you had a pretty good time, and we will see when we get to
See you soon. I'm going to end us on ZEF. So if you're enjoying the Z streams, we'll try to do them more often. Hopefully everyone's schedules will be a little less nutso,